imagine this. You're laying on your stomach. You got a needle this big getting stabbed into the back of your head. Excruciating pain. And here's Wonton Don fist pumping.
Hey, how are you? Welcome back to Drop a Pin, our biggest episode yet, just in terms of how many people are in this room. And we're going to be doing a Barstool recap and then doing a bit of a deep dive into Istanbul, formerly known as Constantinople, one of the most historically fascinating cities on the planet. But first, let's talk about the trip. You guys are already looking better.
Well, for the people that are listening and aren't like super locked in everything Barstool, can you give them a little brief recap or what Barstool was?
Yeah, so it started with me and Dave having a conversation in the Dominican Republic when I took him abroad for the first time.
That was almost 2 years ago.
And he was like, dude, I would love to go abroad again. Also, I'm balding really bad. Yeah. Like a new photo would leak every week where you would just look atrocious. And I don't know if you suggested going to Turkey for a hair transplant or that was my idea.
No, I didn't know that Turkey and specifically Istanbul it was the medical tourism capital of the world, on top of being a capital of like many other things in the world. But I didn't know that was even a thing. That's where I discovered it. So I'm like, yeah, that would be fucking hilarious. But I remember specifically you said it was one of your excuse me, your dream content verticals to bring 5 coworkers, and 5 random stoolies to Istanbul to do it. You specifically said 5 and 5, and you wanted the 5 randos out there. And I'm like, that would be hilarious. Fast forward 2 years, and we made it happen. Well, you made it happen. I showed up.
Yeah, I randomly had a college friend who works at a PR firm, and one of their clients was a hair transplant clinic in Turkey. Shout out Estanove. And we were able to work out a deal where all of us got free flights to Turkey, and you guys got free hair transplants.
Yep, they provided everything. The logistics and lodging and everything Estanove did was just top notch.
Unreal.
I couldn't recommend this company more if you're in the hair plug game and go to them. Just do it and spend the week in Istanbul, which we'll talk about. But they were awesome. I thought.
For everyone that's watching on YouTube, I mean, just look at how good our hairlines are right now. This is what, 13, 14 days post.
Yeah, I'm surprised they look this good already. Because I've seen a lot that happen online, and the first 2 months, the person looks like absolute shit. You guys, if I didn't know to look, I don't know I would even notice.
Now, the thing is, these hairs will fall out. And
some of them, though. Only the transplanted hairs.
Right. So we're going to go back to how we were looking before for a couple months, but then all this, what you see now is going to be our hairline, and the hair will grow back in, and then we should have that for hopefully the rest of our life, or at least until I get married, which is all I really needed for.
Yeah. You got right.
Get me to 40 with a full head of hair, and I'm good. This procedure was worth it.
Physically, you were a perfect candidate to join us on the inaugural season of Barstool, but you're like, I don't give a fuck.
No,
I still give a fuck. I wanted that hair.
Right.
It does not bother me at all. And actually, I like being bald because I think it's easier. I think you've made the decision that you'll be a buzz cut guy.
Well, at first, I'm going to have fun with it.
Yeah, you should grow it out.
Have fun
Let it flow a little bit. Yeah.
I'm going to do.
I don't even think you can cut it for the first 6 months anyway.
Right, exactly.
You have to let it grow.
You can trim it with scissors after 6 months, but you're not allowed to take a razor to it for the first year.
Right.
But Chaps, we do plan on doing a season 2. Would you ever choose to come just to get a free trip to Turkey?
Yes.
Okay.
Would you do the transplant?
Because I think that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, what's the worst thing?
It knocks you out for a couple days. I mean, not you deal with it and it's it sucks, but you're not holy fuck, shoot me in the face.
The worst thing that could happen is that you look like me for a day post surgery when I looked like Avatar.
Yeah.
I went from Megamind to Avatar to somewhat back to normal. But yeah, that was a crazy stretch.
Yeah. That was awesome, though.
Yeah, they have.
I couldn't believe they let me through customs. I really thought that was going to be a problem because I didn't even recognize myself when I was.
They probably
you're a drug mule, but it's inside your forehead.
Yeah,
packs of cocaine.
Yeah. Right under the skin between the bone and the.
Yep.
It was gnarly.
I mean, there have been people who have done that in the past. I think there was a girl that was sneaking drugs using her breast implants. So
what?
I mean, I could be making that up, but I'm pretty sure they just
Be a good
put,
place
like,
to hide it.
Yeah, what
Pouch of
could you
drugs.
possibly put in that would be worth that? Because I imagine that hurts, and then to have lumpy tits.
That's
too.
the only
And then, like-
thing better than boobs being filled with boob is drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just like give her a little slap, a little 8-ball pops out.
That's Nicky Smokes' favorite thing on earth. A boob
Cocaine
filled with drugs.
tits.
Oh, look, Maresh pulled it up. Woman with cocaine hidden in breast implants arrested at Madrid airport. Do you think a dog just was like sniffing her tits and we're like, yo, there's coke in
No,
here?
it's the X-ray machine.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Because it'd be weird to just be like, oh, your boobs look a little lumpy. Why don't you come in this room so I can grab
But it's a
them?
good excuse, and it happened to work one time.
Yep.
Yeah. The rest of the times it's just sexual
Perfect.
assault.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, overall the trip went incredibly smooth. We ended up bringing 8 fans. 8 stoolies came, and they weren't vetted at all, but they were all
Which
chill
we got
dudes.
very lucky with because they were amazing. Like none of them were annoying. None of them were complaining. I mean, Paulo was getting hosed left and right. Shout out Paulo. But even still, like hearing him cry about getting hosed was like the inside joke of the entire trip.
Yeah.
So we got very lucky, and the fact that we didn't vet them, no background check, and they were all just cool as fuck was a blessing. Because who knows, we could have got stuck with some creeps. But
Yeah,
we
you
didn't.
absolutely could have. Absolutely could have. And that maybe would have added to the content in a way, but it would have sucked to travel to a foreign country
Right.
for a week with. But yeah, everybody was awesome. You even, like you and Sam,
Yeah,
We're in
one of the
India
guys I ended up just traveling to India with me right after his hair transplant.
That's the most Donnie shit I've ever heard.
Yeah,
Like that you just randomly went to India with another person you just met.
It's actually the most Sam shit you'll ever hear. If you
Yeah.
met him,
Oh,
this guy
yeah.
was just backpacking through Europe and was like, you know what? I'm going to go hop in on this hair transplant trip. And then right after, oh, Donnie, you want to go to India? Like, sold, put me on.
he was on a 90-day visa
Legend.
for the EU, and he got to Istanbul, and by the time we left, he was on day 89, so he basically had to leave the EU or go to just the Asian side.
Yeah.
So we went to India with Donnie, and now guess where he is?
Oh yeah, right now he's in Lebanon. So
Lebanon.
What?
Yeah.
So
He just felt like going to
Yeah.
Lebanon.
Sam rocks.
and that was his plan all along.
You
Like
get that
after
fella on.
Turkey, he was
Yeah.
going to travel to Lebanon. He met some guy that ran a ski shop there next to the largest ski resort in the entire Middle East. And then the guy was like, if you help out at my shop, you can stay for free. I'll give you free meals. So that was his plan. But then the Syrian civil war really flared up while we were over there. And he was like, Lebanon doesn't seem like the safest place to be right now. So I'll just travel to India with you if you'll have me.
Yeah.
And I was planning on going solo. So I was like, yeah, that's cool. This guy, Sam, he's a history buff.
Big time.
He
Him
offered,
and I gravitated
yeah.
towards each other like instantly.
Yep, he knows his geography. So he offered to do research for this show if we ever like need someone to put together just a fact sheet for an episode.
That's sweet.
And so I was like, all right, this guy seems chill enough. I can talk history with him. And then once I got to India, I was like, thank God I'm not alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of those videos, and we'll talk about that on our Mumbai or India episode. But one of the things I was pumped about on the trip, I mean, besides the picture of your head, of course, that was probably the highlight of the trip for me. But your tweet that Istanbul was your favorite country in the world,
City.
yeah.
But
or favorite city, excuse me.
and I have traveled, I'd say, enough where I can make that distinction. Now, I've been to every major American city. Aside from the Pacific Northwest, I've not been to that part of the country, but I've been over a decent amount of Europe. Istanbul's like no other place I've been. I like Smokes.
Yeah.
How awesome is this place?
I mean, that place was. I could live there. Like
I could
Dave
absolutely
were talking
live
about,
there.
like, yo,
I could absolutely live
we
there.
were sitting on the boat, sun setting, drop dead gorgeous, and Dave's like, yo, wouldn't it be sick to just live here for 6 months, like get a bartending job and
Fuck
just like
yeah.
live? I was like, dude, that sounds fucking awesome because the city was beautiful. It was huge. The people there were awesome. The culture there, at least for guys like me and Dave, I'm in a restaurant. I'm smoking a cig. Everyone's dancing, drinking, having a great time. And it was just like a big sense of togetherness. It felt like a family dinner on Sunday, but with the entire restaurant. And that was pretty much everywhere we went. And dude, they also hustle their fucking ass off out there. Like if you need anything, like if you needed cigs at the dinner table, the waiter's like going to get cigs. Like if you needed, like I wanted to get a soccer jersey at we were at a bar just drinking beer, watching football. I'm like, dude, I told the waiter, I was like, can I get a soccer jersey? Within 5 minutes, he had someone come down and like sell me a shirt. So it's unbelievable out there. It really was.
It's like one gigantic New York 80s stock exchange.
Yeah.
Like the whole city is little booths of people selling shit.
Yeah.
And they're in your face, like trying to sell stuff. And it's just
even at bars,
endless.
like the bouncers are like, come in here, come in here,
Yes.
come in here, come in here.
Yeah, like, you know, have you been to Little Italy in New York?
Yeah.
You know how they have that Italian guy out front that's like, hey, meatball, you know, like they're always like that guy that's like kind of like the front man. Every place in Istanbul has a guy outside that's like trying to entice you to come in. And then like the nightlife is crazy because the streets are so old and so narrow that there's like a bar every 4 feet, but you can't tell like the difference between the bars.
Yep.
So like, it's like one gigantic bar. Like you go get a beer and then you just walk into the street and then you're kind of in another bar. Like I was thinking about it. I wasn't going to do it because I didn't want to get in trouble, be disrespectful, but you could just like get a beer and just walk 4 feet and you would never be found again.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a giant block party.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah, that's well put. I couldn't believe how clean it was too, though.
Yes. And there was no trash cans.
It was so weird because it's twice the size of New York City. It's a huge city.
Largest city in Europe.
I bet a lot of
Cleanest
people listening had no idea that it was that much.
I had no
25
clue.
million.
It's
And there was almost no homeless people.
No homeless people, clean as can be. I won't walk around Chicago at 3 a.m. alone unless I absolutely fucking have to.
Yeah.
I would have absolutely no problem doing that.
Pussy.
Not one point I felt unsafe in that city.
Yeah.
At no point.
And I don't know if that's because we were with a group of 12, but even still, like I made rounds by myself
Yeah.
all the time around that city, and it was like whatever. And also, one of my favorite things is because I'm a cat person. Is cats are just like the city's pet.
Stray cats and stray dogs,
And
like
fat
all over
stray
Turkey.
dogs.
The store owners there will put out food in the morning for the strays, so they're all well taken care of.
Yeah, they're all tagged. They're not like starving or skinny, but everywhere you go, there's like a cat in. Like we went to Skechers to look at shoes, and there was just cats chilling in the store. Fucking, they're everywhere. I loved it because I'm a cat person.
Yeah, when I was researching, one of the things I saw was that its nickname was the cat capital of the world.
Oh, yep.
Okay.
Everywhere you want.
hella cats.
And their cats were very beautiful too. The women there are great.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite parts of the trip was just that for a lot of people, it was their first time leaving North America. And like half of the stoolies hadn't really traveled before, half of you guys hadn't, and like everyone was just fascinated by the place.
Yeah, I had very low expectations going into Istanbul. 'Cause
Yeah.
you know, man, I'm not very cultured or know my history. Like I didn't know it was the biggest city or what was it used to be called?
You didn't know.
Constantinople.
Yeah, see, I didn't know any of that shit.
You also
So,
didn't know what two continents it was on.
Yeah, I had no clue. I knew one was in Europe. And
I think you said Asia and Africa, or did you say Europe and Africa?
Europe and Africa. Yeah, bad guess, but hey, it happens. And I also had no idea how close we were to Ukraine and Russia.
Yeah.
He's like, dude, Ken Jack was like, you know, like there's a huge war going on and it's not that far away. I'm like, what are you
shares
talking
the
about?
Black Sea. So I looked it up. As the crow flies, it's about I think it was 120 miles from where we were to Odessa, Ukraine, and then Sevastopol, Ukraine, which is on Crimea.
Right.
And those two cities are just fucking launching cruise missiles at each other right now, and they're all going over the Black Sea, which is what we were looking at.
And for only being 120 miles away, it was pretty quiet by us. Like I didn't hear any missiles or
but
anything
yeah, you
like
go
that.
outside of Istanbul. I mean, the southern border of Turkey that borders Iraq, Syria. It's a fucking
It's a
war zone.
Yeah.
But Istanbul.
As soon as we left, the Syrian shit popped off.
It was as we were out there. Yeah, Assad was falling as we were out there.
They knew not to try no shit while we were there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They do have what's it called where everybody has to serve.
Mandatory conscription.
Yeah, so everybody serves there when they turn 18, or you can like pay something and get out of it. He said.
Yeah.
I think Khan told us that, right?
Mm-hmm. When it came to the history of Istanbul, going into it, Rudy probably knew the most, and that was just from you watching one show on Netflix.
That was just strictly from
And
Rise
we
of
were
the
out
Ottomans.
with one of the actors.
Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah, so
Yeah.
Rise of the Ottomans. I mean, I like learning about history. I was doing mostly World War II shit, but then I randomly watched Rise of the Ottomans, which is all about Mehmet the Conqueror, and he who is part of the Ottoman Empire, and he was the first person to finally conquer Constantinople, which is now Istanbul. And then the funny thing is, the one thing I really wanted to see was the Golden Horn and where the chain was, and sort of the old city. And the first night we went to dinner, we walked around, and then Donnie was like, "Oh, we got to go look at this tower." And we were all pretty drunk, and so we go to look at this tower, and everyone just starts shitting on Donnie. We're like, "This tower's fucking lame."
Oh yeah,
dumbass.
well,
fucking
you
tower.
gotta tell them this was right after the dinner. We're all liquored up.
Yeah.
And Donnie picks the worst route possible to go see this fucking tower. It's like 2 a.m. We finally get there. We're like, this is what you dragged us out here for?
I
This
thought there were a
stupid
lot of
fucking
bars
tower?
around the tower.
No.
But then we saw it the next day. We're like, oh shit, this kind of rough.
Well, the funny thing is, I knew what that tower was, and I was very excited because that's the Galata Kulesi, which is one of the oldest towers in the world, and that was where they hitched up the chain. There was an original old one that was like built in 300 BC. That one fell down, and then they rebuilt that one, and then they used that as like a place where they would help with get the chain across the Golden Horn, which is where Mehmet couldn't get through the chain and then carried the ships over land on logs, which is fucking insane. But I knew that, but the whole group was just shitting on Donnie, so I was like, yeah, dude, this tower is so fucking lame. Like, what a fucking idiot. And meanwhile, I was like, this is like exactly what I wanted to see.
Geeking out on the inside.
I think I have a video of when I got to the tower and I was like, we're at the tower. So cool, so cool.
Yeah, I think the tower was built in like the 1100s or maybe the 500s, but it was built by the Genoese because Constantinople was like the trading center of the world. Mm-hmm. So they had colonies within the city where the Genoese would live, where the Venetians would live, and just trade because it was right at the center of East and West.
Mm-hmm. And then after Mehmet took over, the Genoese gave that area in that tower to the Ottomans, which is what I read.
Okay.
And then in that process too, the Byzantine Empire got butt fucked, and that was sort of the end of it.
That was the end of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, should we go into the history of Istanbul now, or do you want to talk a little more about the trip?
I'd like to talk about how Dave loved it so much that he converted to Islam.
Yeah, I did. Mm-hmm.
At what was it, like every 6 hours? It's like the whole city plays the same song.
5 times a day, everyone prays, and that's the same in all Muslim countries.
And the first one's at like 6 a.m. So every day at 6 a.m. I'm waking up to the Muslim song.
I thought it was...
Dave loved it.
I thought it was...
I like how he calls it the Muslim song.
Yeah, the
call to prayers.
The Muslim song.
Yeah.
The Muslim song. Muslim song. I don't know. I thought there was just something like beautiful about it. Like it's perfectly quiet aside from like these tornado sirens just blasting...
I thought I was in Black Hawk Down, dude.
That's exactly. I swear to God, that's what I was just about to say. I felt like I was in Black Hawk Down.
Yeah,
different countries and different.
It's scary, man.
Yeah.
Like when I was in Fallujah, like we
Right,
would go out
right.
and be out under
Would
the
that
cover
trigger
of
any
darkness.
bad
And
for you?
right now?
Yeah.
No, but yeah. Thanks for asking.
Yeah,
but
That's kind, yeah.
Making sure.
whenever you were coming back in and you would hear that, it would be like, all right, time to go back inside. Mm-hmm. Like whenever it was, because like right after morning prayers, or usually right after prayers is whenever it would happen. Like whenever there'd be like firefights.
Yeah.
The interesting thing in Istanbul in regards to that stuff is that Istanbul clearly is a pretty progressive city in like the sort of, I guess, like spectrum of the Middle East. And when they did the prayers,
Secular.
I would say almost nobody stopped what they were doing.
No, I don't think I saw one person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you were near like the Hagia Sophia or near a mosque, I'm sure there's tons of people that were observing the prayer. But in general, it was
It was
very westernized.
That's exactly it was perfectly westernized.
Someone told us that everything closed on Sunday, and then we literally just walked one more block and boom, like the whole city just opened up in front of us and everyone was just doing whatever. So yeah, it was very westernized out there.
It was the perfect amount, I'd say.
Yeah.
Like not enough for like that's my complaint about Munich and Germany as a whole. It's like when I was in Munich, it's like I was in an American city.
Yeah.
You don't feel like that in Istanbul.
Right. And the exchange rate there was amazing.
Great place to shop.
I bought a whole new wardrobe and I bought a new suitcase out there. It cost me 10 USD. I spent maybe 150 American dollars.
I spent a lot more than that.
And
I'm
bought
a bad
at least
hustler.
30 pieces of clothing. Like everything that you've seen me wearing in the office the last 2 weeks is straight from Turkey.
Oh yeah, Dave was a mark. We were walking around like all these bazaars and shit,
Yeah.
and literally like every time someone would talk to him, he'd be like, "Yeah, let's talk about it." And they would come, like this one guy, we left the bazaar and this random dude didn't even have a store or anything, came up with just a pair of Jordans. He's like, Jordans, and Dave's like, oh, hell yeah, okay.
Gotta have them. Gotta have them.
Yeah, like everyone usually keeps their head down, keep it moving. No. Any and everyone that came up to Dave, he's like, yeah, what do you got? What do you got? What do you got? And I'm like,
I like it because Dave doesn't come off as a guy that would care that much about fashion where he'd get fake shit. So people are going to...
Oh, no. This jacket, it's actually down, too. I've been pulling feathers out of it. I just assumed it said it was down and it was stuffed with like shitty cotton. It's actually down.
See, this is what you shouldn't be doing. When I said, oh, that's a nice jacket, you're like, oh, it's fake. You got to keep it real.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm going to now that I think it can play as a real jacket.
It does, yeah.
And if anyone didn't know you went to Turkey, they're not going to be like, oh, that's fake.
Yeah.
People in here might be like, oh, it's fake because they know you went to Turkey.
I mean, like that watch last night from the White Elephant. People thought it was real.
That was from Turkey. That had to be.
Yeah.
Was that your gift?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I paid $150 for that too.
USD?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, he got me.
Yeah.
You got you good. That thing didn't even tick, bro.
I'm pretty sure it
got
ticked.
It did not
down to 50 or something. That was the problem. I was trying to help him, and the guy would be like $300, and then like the moment we got it down to 200, Dave was like, "Yep, okay."
Yeah, that's
Boom.
sold.
And I was like, "No, I
sold.
We got to keep going. We could have got that down to 100."
Yeah.
Yeah, that's usually the rule of thumb. You get down to like a third or.
There was one time where I could sense like visible anger on Donnie's face, which you don't see often. Obviously, Donnie's a very affable guy.
Oh my God, yes.
But Paolo, so Paolo was the kid that kept getting hosed on the trip. Paolo is probably 4 inches shorter than me.
Yeah.
Yes.
French Canadian.
French, yes.
He's from Montreal. Mm-hmm. I thought he was like in his mid to late 20s. He told me he was 39 and my jaw dropped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He looks like he's just like a nice little kid, very small. Anyways,
39.
I'm setting the scene because he looks like someone you could take advantage of. With all due respect to Paulo, and someone started one of these bizarre guys started at like 120, and by the end of it, Paulo was going to be paying more than the starting point.
Yeah.
And then Donnie came up like a second later and saw what was happening, and Donnie just paid like $40 for something that Paulo got reverse hustled for.
Yeah.
And Donnie was like, no, put your fucking shit. Like it was anger.
No, he was on the 1 yard line. He was trying to buy a Louis bag.
Legit 1 yard line.
The card was in the chip reader.
Yeah.
And I go, oh my God, that's just $200. I just bought that same bag for 40. Like, take that out of the card immediately. And then he's like, oh, they probably already stole my credit card information.
Probably did.
Yeah. What were some of your peaks and valleys of the trip?
I mean, the peak for me obviously was the dinner that first night.
That was so. I wanted to get so shit.
Like that's the shit that as I've got older, I enjoyed more. Like a nice dinner with the right group of people.
Yep.
The energy's high. Like everything about that night was fantastic. It was a great bonding moment for everyone there. Also, when we pretty much did the tour of the city, I thought that was awesome. Like I didn't listen to half the shit the tour guide said, but I'm just looking around, taking it all in. The city was very, very beautiful. The park was good. That
I love
warm milk fucking drink they gave us out there.
Sour yogurt.
Yeah, that was gas. So everything aside from like the moment,
needles?
the needles in the back of my head and how I felt the first and second day after surgery, that was probably the only valley I had the entire trip. Because once you get the procedure and you leave that clinic, it feels like a lion stuck its claws in the top of your head and just like won't let go. And then the bandages also, there's so much pressure back there that the second day, once you got that off and they washed your hair, you're like, oh, I'm relieved. You're still in a little bit of pain. So I would say the only downtime of that whole trip was day of surgery, day after. And then right after that second day, I was like, all right, let's go. Let's go do whatever the fuck we want. So that's the only thing I have. But pretty much everything about that trip was fucking awesome.
Yeah, I would say that welcome dinner was a peak for me. And then I guess like a valley was how hungover I was the next morning. And I was like, oh shit, I got to get
You
the tour.
were on demon time. You did the soccer game, the basketball game.
Oh yeah.
Like you did. And then you would also wake up in the morning for our surgeries.
Yeah.
I think you went to 2 surgeries after 2 late games. I think you did soccer game, surgery, basketball game, surgery.
Yeah, when I was doing a live stream, a Turkish guy came up because he saw that he was watching on YouTube, and then he was like, oh, I know where that bar is. So he came out to meet us because he was a fan of my videos, and then he invited me to a soccer game, and then like the medical director of the clinic invited me to a basketball game, and like they had already bought the ticket, so I never felt like I could say no. So I was just going. Like I didn't have a moment of rest the entire week.
Intense.
The
games, yeah.
Like Turkish fans are known for being like very passionate. Some are known to be pretty violent. I think the Galatasaray fans, there was an incident where like it was Galatasaray versus Leeds, and like 3 or 4 Leeds fans were killed.
Nice.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Leeds is in
England Premier League, yeah.
Yeah.
It must have been like a Champions
They
League.
call their home section hell.
Yeah.
Like
Welcome to hell.
Yeah, they welcome to hell sign that they put up for
That's
opposing
so dope.
fans.
I bet Bears fans would beat the shit out of Leeds fans.
But one valley, because I was super jet lagged. So the first morning of the surgeries, I thought we were getting picked up at 9 or something, and I woke up at 2:30 in the morning. I couldn't fall asleep until 6 a.m. And then I slept from 6 to 8:30. But you guys got picked up at 7.
Yeah.
So I woke up and like I was looking forward to seeing you shave your head, the whole process. And I was like, "Where are you guys?" And someone sends a photo, and it's Dave like already with his head shaved at the clinic. And I was like, "Oh fuck, I got to get to the clinic. I'm gonna miss it." Luckily, we did have one camera guy there that was filming it, but it was pouring outside. Like I get in a cab and I'm like, "I got to go to Asia," because like our hotel was on the European side, the clinic was on the Asian side. And the guy's like, "There's going to be too much traffic. You just have to take a boat. Just hop on the ferry." And I was like, "No, I'm already in the Uber. Just go. I can deal with the traffic." Because on Google Maps, it said it was maybe 20 minutes of traffic. And then he was like, no, too much traffic. And eventually, like, he got to the bridge and refused to take me over it and just dropped me off on the side of the highway.
What?
Yeah.
I did not know this.
Yeah, so then I'm frantically trying to, like, wave over a cab. No cabs are stopping. I have to call another Uber. It picks me up on the bridge.
What?
And finally, I get to the clinic. You're in the operating room. But a peak was just how much freedom I had in the clinic.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, I felt like I was working there.
Dude, I was shocked watching you. I was like, they don't have any like standard for
Chaps, imagine this. You're laying on your stomach. You got a needle this big getting stabbed into the back of your head. Excruciating pain. And here's Wonton Don fist pumping to the fucking house music they're playing on a live stream. And I'm squeezing his hand as if like a woman giving child labor. Like I was in fucking pain. He's just like getting all fired up.
For you too, Rudy?
It was a little painful, but not that bad.
See, Eddie told me that you guys told him it was like a 2 out of 10 pain.
Yeah, that was bullshit. You were the only one that kept it real when it came to that, but I'm kind of glad they lied to me.
I think you said 8.
I'm glad they lied to me.
It fucking sucked.
Yeah, that was the worst part by far.
I guess I'm just built different.
I was clenching my fist
Did you
and
get back
teeth
of the
and
head?
sweating my ass off.
Yeah, that was the worst. And everyone's like, "Oh, it only lasts a couple minutes," but those couple minutes felt like hours.
Yeah.
That it was miserable. But another valley I'd also say is the jet lag. None of us slept that whole trip.
No.
Yeah, then I feel like that was the worst jet lag I've experienced in a while.
It was awful.
like,
I didn't get over it until a couple nights ago.
Everyone in the group chat would text each other, "You up?" And at 3, 4 a.m.
We were all like waiting.
Everyone's wide awake.
Yeah, everyone was, but you didn't want to text and like wake someone up like an asshole in case they were sleeping. But as soon as someone would, everyone's like, I'm up. Who wants to do like who want? Because we were just like bored as fuck.
No one
in our
could sleep.
beds.
Yeah, it was brutal.
I think the clinic saw some comments because the first day I'm just dressed like I'm heading to the club and I'm in all the operating rooms, and someone was like, "Is that sanitary?" So the following day I had to dress up like a doctor, but that was even cooler. Then I just felt I legit.
Dr. Donnie, yeah.
I do want to talk about, sorry to go back a bit, but the taxi situation, like you said on the bridge, the taxi and car situation was insane. No one obeyed the traffic laws, which is chill.
There were none.
And the mopeds would just like bomb down the streets with people in it. But me and Donnie, and I think Smokes, you were in it. We got in a taxi when we were leaving the Grand Bazaar, and it was on like a pretty
I was there.
Oh yeah, Dave was there. And we were on like a pretty busy highway. And I think the guy was like trying to figure out, like he didn't want to like take this highway because it would have taken us on some big loop. This is on a very busy, I would qualify it as a highway.
It was a highway. It was absolutely a highway.
Goes into the shoulder, puts it in reverse, and goes reverse on an exit ramp. Goes reverse for like 200 yards. Goes backwards into traffic, goes onto an on-ramp, and then joins traffic. It was one of the most insane fucking maneuvers I've ever seen in my life.
Bourne.
Cars.
It was legitimately a Jason Bourne movie in the Mini Cooper. Like it was all of us were sitting there like trying to be normal, like, okay, this is just normal. We're chill.
Cars were flying past us.
I'm fine.
And I was worried to turn around and look at oncoming traffic because I didn't want to see a car, like turn around and see a car coming in where like I see my life about to end.
Yeah.
That's how worried I was. So I'm just like staring. I'm like, all right, he knows what he's doing. Let all these cars fly fucking past us and we'll figure it out. But I was like sincerely nervous. I didn't want to turn around and see all the traffic coming like directly at us.
You could offer me 500 USD a year, 500,000 to be a taxi driver in Turkey, and I would tell you to go fuck yourself.
I wouldn't. I would.
There is no way.
And that's multiply that times 37. 37. That's how much lira you're making a year. You are a gazillionaire.
Yeah, but it's the most stressful job ever.
Yeah, you don't gotta drive like that though. You could drive like a
Yeah, but everyone else is driving like that, so you have to react to all that.
True. You would.
Yeah, but that's what you could market it as, the comfortable drive.
Yeah,
Comfortably. Yeah.
the American driver.
One of the fans who came, the clinic picked him up at the airport, drove him to the hotel. On the way to the hotel, he got in 2 fender benders.
Yep.
Yeah.
I guess
The Byzantine bump is what they were calling it. Yeah, he said he got into 2 fender benders. The driver just got out of the car. They yelled at each other. Then they both got back in the cars and kept driving, and then got in another accident.
Jesus.
Yeah.
It was nuts.
Public transit is the way to go there. They do have a great public transit system.
Yes.
A trolley. They have the second oldest subway on the planet.
And it just goes up.
It's just this one line. It goes up Galata Hill. It's called the Tunnel, Tunnel, with those 2 dots over the U. But yeah, I was shocked. It was London has the first, and then Istanbul made that just to help people get up the hill because they've got some steep streets.
And we walked down that hill the first time. I wouldn't say that you didn't know the tunnel was a thing. I think we just opted to walk it, and that was brutal, especially for our guy Noah that had like some shit in his foot that was all fucked up.
Oh yeah,
poor bastard's like walking down this steep
he had
ass hill.
plantar fasciitis or something.
Yeah, something crazy like.
So me and Kenjack, we walked back from I think it was a Hagia Sophia, but we went up the hill the second time instead of going down it, and there was these 2 ladies pushing a stroller up it, and this hill's like a solid 50-degree grade,
Like a San Francisco hill?
It's brutal. And there's these 2 ladies pushing the stroller, and I'm like, if they let go of the stroller, this baby's fucking dead. So I offered, I'm like, hey, can I help you guys? And they thought I was snatching their baby, and they're like screaming. I'm like, I'm out of here.
God.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that's a wild move, Dave, considering.
But
I was sore thumb.
I was thinking. I was like,
Was
like, hey,
this
do you guys need
post
help?
or pre-surgery?
And they were like the only people. This was post. This was one of the last days we were there. They were like,
you look like a complete cyclops, and
Sure.
you're like, let me help you push this baby.
I made sure to keep my distance, but they're like the only people I experienced out there the entire time that didn't speak a lick of English either. So there was obviously a translation thing. I'm like, do you guys need help? And they're just sitting there like. But if they like stop or fall or like lose all their energy or something, that baby is fucking gonzo down this hill,
flipping.
you know? Maybe it happened anyways, but it wouldn't have been my fault because I offered help.
Maybe.
Yeah. In terms of clips that we posted, my favorite was the one where Eddie is getting out of the car.
Unreal.
And, Noah comes up with the umbrella. I set it to the Godfather theme, but everyone was like, yeah, he looks like a mobster heading into court to get indicted on
Puts his little
racketeering
hand
charges.
up.
Yeah. Yeah, we did kind of look like some sort of organized mob. Hopefully not neo-Nazis with the shaved heads, but
The boat picture was a hit.
Iconic.
yeah, we recreated the Giants boat photo.
You know they have it framed. The sales team has it framed and hanging up.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, let's go.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, we got really lucky because the 2 days of the procedures, it was really shitty weather. But then the 2 days we had off, the sun was peeking out, and we got a beautiful sunset on our
Oh, that was
cruise.
awesome.
That was
It's
so
called
sick.
the Golden Horn.
The Golden Horn is the historical harbor that they used because there's that little river that
Yeah.
goes in. But we were cruising on the Bosphorus, which is the little strait of water that separates Europe
So
and
that
Asia.
bridge, like where we started the cruise, that would have entered the Golden Horn, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. We started the cruise in the Golden Horn, and then it cruised out into the Bosphorus.
So at that like exact time of year, at that exact hour when you're on the cruise, the sunset's like peeking over the mountains and it hits the river. So it's like it's golden water, and you're just looking at it, you're like why am I running the rat race? Oh, it's so.
That's the most common
great.
over 30 vacation. Like, what am I doing?
What's it all about, dude?
But I mean, the people.
Why am I
who-
not Muslim?
The people who live there full time, they're definitely in the rat race. Like,
No,
It
that's
is
true.
the
Yeah.
definition of the rat race.
yeah, and there's horrible.
Oh, I
I thought you were talking about Clemmer's rat race because you got to do that the next day.
I did.
Yeah, like I think there are. If you live there full time, certain things would get annoying, like
Yeah,
the traffic. But I mean, there's bad traffic in Chicago, but I think
Nothing like
That
in
there.
Istanbul.
you always got to take the ferry. I think their ferry, it's the most used public transportation ferry in the world.
It's got to be.
That goes from Europe to Asia. They just have tons of them running at all times.
And no disrespect to their food, but I was tired of that shit after the third, fourth day.
It's a lot of the same stuff. I love it because you can just eat a shit ton of it and you're not feeling guilty. There's like no food hangover with it. It's good European food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's clean eating.
And they have some weird foods. There's a popular intestine sandwich called like
Is that the dick?
correct.
It literally looked like a penis.
That was something else. And then there's shirdan, which I took Dave out to eat, and it's like a lamb's small intestine stuffed with rice and spices, but it looks exactly like a penis.
It's a dildo.
It's got like a
Is it good?
Chaps,
It looks
it's
like an
wrinkly ball sack.
uncircumcised
It's what?
dick.
trying to give the pipe.
Oh, hell.
Oh, speaking of circumcision, we had this tour guide, and he was like, he's like, fun fact, kids used to get circumcised at the age of 12,
Yeah.
not at birth, the age of 12. I was like,
Yeah.
That's nuts.
That's horrifying.
So they don't like still do this in Turkey, but yeah, I think Ottoman tradition back in the day, the kids would wait until like 7 or 12 to get
That's
circumcised.
12, yeah. That's what he said. And I don't think that's like a tradition that's pretty recently by the sounds
Abolished.
of it. Yeah.
You got to do it a little bit earlier because once you start getting
You got to
into
do
a
it right
little-
when you're born.
Yeah, but I mean, even that, like if you know what your perineum, isn't it your perineum? What's that skin flap that's underneath the circumcision? That it's
Yeah, yeah, I
that
know
it's
what you're
supposed to be like a super erogenous zone, and we don't have it because of circumcision.
Ooh.
Wait, what does super erogenous mean?
Like super horny.
Oh fuck!
It's supposed to be even more sensitive.
They nerfed us.
Yeah.
They nerfed us.
So like that part
They
that
didn't nerf
connects
me
like
enough.
the head to your foreskin.
Yeah.
When you cut that, there's all kinds of like pleasure nerves in that too.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Damn.
you know your way around a penis. Huh?
Oh, brother, you have no idea.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure when they banned it, but the practice was
I don't think it
called
was banned. I think it's just they're
Dev
getting,
Sherm.
westernized a bit. As a pious guy yourself, Uncle Chaps, we saw a big poll where parts of Jesus Christ's cross is
What, you think I'm pious?
yeah,
Okay.
pious guy.
No, it was rumored that some part of his remains were there.
No, part of the cross.
Oh.
yeah.
Are like mixed into the mortar. It's like myth, probably not happening, but just the fact that maybe not, non-zero chance that part of Jesus' cross that he was crucified on changed the course of history. I'm staring right at it. That's beautiful to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you could be staring at nothing, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
Like relics were
yeah.
created all the time. Really,
You could
starting in
build like
330.
all of New York City with the amount of fake Jesus cross that have been sold and
yeah.
hustled out there.
The
Yeah.
Council of Nicaea is when they brought in a whole bunch of different.
I actually
relics.
knew that fun fact. Yeah.
And that was in Turkey,
Yeah.
on the Asian side, not too far from Istanbul. When you're walking through Istanbul, I don't know if we saw it on this trip, but there are parts where the foundation is exposed and you can like trace the different eras of history. Like you can see the Roman foundations and then the Byzantine foundations, the Ottoman foundations, and then the modern foundations all on top of each other. And some parts of like some Roman ruins are still well preserved there, like the Column of Constantine that we saw.
That's what I was talking about. Yeah, they moved that column from Rome to.
No, it was not. It was built there because like
I thought they moved it there.
no, I think it was built there because Constantine was the one who founded the city, and he called it New Rome.
Turned it, banned Islam, right?
Oh, that was before Islam was even invented because he founded the city in like 350 AD, and Islam didn't come around
Right,
until
that was
700 AD.
Yeah. Huh.
And he founded it just because the Roman Empire was becoming so huge that it was hard to run from Rome. He's like, we need a capital that's right in the middle of the empire. So he founded it there. And then 100 years later, Rome fell to the Goths, I think. So then really that just became the new capital of Rome. And a lot of the people that lived in Rome all fled and moved to Constantinople. So like the whole Senate, kind of all the nobles, all the Roman nobles moved to Constantinople. And so it really was the Roman Empire. You know how once it moved to Constantinople, they called it the Byzantine Empire? Yeah. It was the Roman Empire. They called themselves the Romans. So it's crazy to think that the Roman Empire didn't really end until 1457 when the Ottomans finally conquered it.
That is crazy. That's a long time.
That's thousands of years. Like I was listening to some like we have this like innate American thought in us that just America will be perpetual, and history says that's not the case. Like all the best of the best empires lasted a few thousand years. Like you could argue that America won't last a few hundred years, you know, in the grand scheme of like the history of civilization and politics and countries and nations and all that. And
300 years, we ain't shit.
Right. We might not be. But the Roman Empire,
Holy
almost
shit.
3,000 years.
I was just thinking like 1700, 1800, 1900. Damn.
Yeah.
I was thinking that those were thousands. Those are only hundreds of years.
Yeah.
That's why when you think about, like, everybody views the Hall of Fames as like this big deal. Like, baseball's been around for like 100 years. Who gives a
150 years. Yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
No, like, oh, I'm a Hall of Famer. Oh, real cool, dude. You're great at a sport that's happened for 100 years.
That's nuts.
So, I mean, the Roman Empire didn't last 3,000 years, but it's considered to have begun in 27 BC. 27 BC, okay. I thought it was older. And then the Western Roman Empire, that kind of fell in 476 AD, but the Eastern Roman Empire, that lasted until 1453.
So 1,500 years, yeah.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah,
I couldn't even imagine what this place is going to look like in 1,500 years.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Let alone the next
Probably
100.
really, really hot. Thanks to climate change.
Well, we'll probably be on Mars.
Yeah, but that's like
We'll be
Chicago's just going to become like a nicer and nicer place to live.
They said
Northern
that
Canada could be.
by 2030, Chicago's supposed to have the same climate as Scottsdale, Arizona. I've been waiting for it for fucking years. When's that going to happen? Because that'd be awesome.
No, it wouldn't. I just moved from San Antonio. I don't want that 100
Yeah,
degree
dude,
You'd
heat
rather
like
have
every
this
day.
shit where your fucking boogers are
Absolutely.
for sure.
Yeah,
Fuck that.
because like,
Absolutely.
I'm done with the heat.
Bro, have you been to Scottsdale in the summer?
yeah, you can't leave
even
your
go
house for-
outside.
I've been to Vegas in August. That's the closest I've been.
And
That
that's
shit
just
is
dry as fuck.
Yeah,
Your nose
it
is
was like
bleeding.
breathing car exhaust.
Yeah, it sucks.
It's like being in an oven, dog.
That dry heat is horrible. Disgusting. Any heat in the summertime like Florida.
Chicago
Texas, all that
heat's
shit
not
sucks.
bad in the summer, but like
No.
St. Louis, like Kansas City, like lower
Miserable.
Midwest humid heat, that's worse than dry heat.
Yeah.
You ever been
Well,
to St.
I
Louis
grew
in the
up in
summer where
humid
it's
heat, so-
96 and fucking 100% humidity? Ugh.
The humidity sucks, but like I
All right,
guess I
let's
was
skip weather and get
Yeah.
back
Yeah,
to
let's-
Istanbul.
Yeah.
Perfect weather there.
Let's do some of the
Perfect weather.
Want to get into some of the history?
Yeah. So as we mentioned, it was founded by Constantine. He called it New Rome, and then they eventually just started to call it Constantinople. And he picked the perfect location because it's on this peninsula, which is on the Bosphorus, a really thin strip of land separating Europe and Asia. And they eventually built walls, like blocking off the peninsula from the rest of Europe. And so it was just so easy to defend. And like countless people tried to invade it over the years. The Arabs tried, the Russians tried, the Bulgarians, and they couldn't do it because the Emperor Theodosian or Theodosius, he built the Theodosian walls, which you can still see today. They were like 4-layered walls. No one could get past them. And then on the other 3 sides of the city, it's surrounded by water. And they could block off the harbor with this giant chain that just went across it. One time when the Arabs were invading, they used Greek fire to fend everyone off. So we've all seen that Game of Thrones episode where they invent
Yes.
that green stuff.
Battle of
Dragon's
Blackwater.
breath, right? In that
Wildfire.
wildfire.
Is that what they called it in the show?
Yeah. The green stuff, yeah.
Yeah, so that's all based on something that really happened. And even to this day, we aren't exactly sure what the recipe was for Greek fire, but like there was a bunch of Arab ships surrounding it and they just shot it out, torched all of them. And they used that a couple times to fend off invaders.
That's sick.
I think they know it was a combination of petroleum, sulfur, and then some other ingredients. They're not really sure. But that must have been like the atomic bomb of its day. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, that is but then the Ottomans tried like a shit ton of times. Like Mehmet's grandfather, his dad, all took a run at Constantinople, all failed. And then wasn't it when he came in, he got the Hungarian dude to get the first cannon?
yes. Yeah, so that's when it finally fell. Let's
You can go back, sorry.
Yeah, let's rewind a little bit. Something that I find fascinating about the Byzantine Empire is that the emperor, he eventually had, like, his secret service was a bunch of Russian Vikings, because the Vikings tried to invade and conquer Constantinople a few times. They just couldn't do it. But the Byzantines were like, damn it, these guys know how to fight. Like, they're crazy. And the Vikings were like, well, if we can't beat them, let's join them. And so he was like, do you guys want to be my bodyguards? And they worked out a deal. And for a while, all the Byzantine empires would just have a pack of Viking bodyguards called the
That's sick.
Varangian Guard.
Was that our guy Bluetooth?
Harold Bluetooth may have been, yeah. I think he was a member of the Varangian Guard. And it was like a rite of passage. If you were a Viking in Russia, Sweden, or Norway, you'd be like, all right, I'm going to go put in 10 years, like working in the Varangian Guard, like see a bunch of cool
Like
shit.
the dude from Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Hound?
Not the Hound, the redhead.
Oh, the guy. So many people said I look like
Giant's
a fucker or
Bane?
whatever.
Giant's Bane, yeah, Giant's Bane.
Oh no, I was the wildling guy.
Tormund.
Yeah.
Or no, that's what I'm talking about. Torment.
Yeah.
Torment
Giant's Bane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that is his name. Torment Giant's Bane. Yes.
He's called Giant's Bane because he said that he
Sucked
sucked
it.
on the titty of a giant. That's
Yeah.
why he got so big.
His milk.
I should
Sick
be so
lore.
lucky.
Yeah, so the Vikings would be like, all right, it's time to go earn your stripes. Go to Constantinople, protect the emperor for 5 years.
That's sweet.
Yeah, and then come back. And they seemed to be more loyal than the local Byzantines, because they would always flip-flop, change sides, like who they're going to support. But the Vikings just respected cold, hard cash. So it's like, this is what I'm going to pay you. Keep me alive. Don't let anyone kill me.
Once again, it's wild to be sent away from your wife and family for 5 years at a time.
Nuts.
Yeah. But like Constantinople was probably beautiful compared, because they're used to like living in just like
Arctic.
yeah, like freezing cold forests, and then they
Yeah.
get down to Constantinople. They're like, holy shit, I like this place. So, I mean, we do need to talk about the Fourth Crusade. This is one of the craziest things. This is Christians backstabbing Christians. So the Fourth Crusade, the goal was to reclaim Jerusalem from the Muslims, because in the First Crusade, we had captured Jerusalem. The Muslims eventually took it back over. They're like, we need to get it back. So they all met in Venice, and then they built a bunch of ships, and the plan was to go to Jerusalem. But on the way, they ran into a Byzantine prince whose father had just been deposed as emperor. They put someone else in charge. And he was like, if you guys help me kind of put me back on the throne, then I'm going to pay you guys all the money you need to fund the rest of this crusade to Jerusalem, because they were really low on money. And they were like, all right, sounds good. They show up in Constantinople, a crazy battle. They eventually win. They put that guy back on the throne, and then they're like, okay, where's our money? And the guy didn't realize, but like the Byzantine Empire was kind of bankrupt at that moment. So he was like, I don't really have that much money to pay you.
Nice.
And so you got all these crusaders there, and they were pissed off. They started to riot, and they put the city under siege. They eventually were able to capture Constantinople, sack the entire thing. And they took like all of like the most valuable shit. A lot of it ended up back in Venice. They took all the riches, raped, pillaged, and this was Christians on Christians. And their goal was to go fight the Muslims in Jerusalem. They ended up just destroying the greatest Christian city on the planet at that time. So in Venice, you can still see it to this day. Above their church, there's these 4 horses, these 4 like bronze or gold. They're huge. They're awesome. They stole those from Constantinople during the Fourth Crusade. And then they pretty much conquered the entire Byzantine Empire. And so for a while, the Byzantine Empire was just like ruled by the Franks. They called it like the Latin era. And that, they never really fully recovered from that. Like after just getting completely bumfucked by their fellow Christians.
Big time fuck around and find out moment.
Yeah. And then afterwards, they were like, you know what, let's not even go to Jerusalem. Like, they're like,
Fuck that place.
yeah, like, we're rich. We just like conquered the richest city on the planet.
Yeah.
Guess it worked out better for them.
Yeah, but it didn't work out well for the Christian world in general, because then that started the Byzantine decline. The Byzantines were eventually able to take it back over after like a couple hundred years, but then it was like a shell of itself, and the Ottomans like really started expanding at that time, where, I mean, Constantinople during its heyday had about 500,000 people. When the Ottomans like invaded and conquered it, there was only 50,000 people there.
Damn.
Yeah.
A lot of diaspora. You know when the Ottoman Empire was like finally no longer a thing? Smokes?
No clue.
Guess.
I mean, I'm just gonna sound like an idiot. I have
No, that's
absolutely no idea. 1800s.
It's not the worst guess.
No, it's not a bad guess. It seems like this like ancient thing we're talking about. I think it ended in like 1930.
It was right after World War
Yeah.
One.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
A few years after
World War I was what
Yeah.
destroyed the Ottoman Empire.
That fact is almost as shocking to most people as Picasso dying in the
Right.
60s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so even though USA entered World War I, they never declared war against the Ottoman Empire, and I don't think the Ottoman Empire declared war on the USA, because by the time we joined the war, they were kind of already
It was
out the door.
Yeah.
But they did win some huge battles in World War I. The Battle of Gallipoli.
That was the one regret I had. We would have never been able to make it work, but I would have loved to make it to Gallipoli when we were out there.
Yeah.
It's
close
a few
to
hours
Istanbul.
away, I think.
It's like another area where the distance between Europe and Asia is super small.
Yeah.
And the Brits, although they had a bunch of Australians fighting for them, I think it was mainly like Australian, New Zealand troops. They were like, we're going to sail up here, then we're going to conquer Constantinople. And the ships could have plowed through, but the ships got too scared because there was like, oh, they've mined the waters. They would have lost a few ships, but most would have made it through. They were like, no, we just need to land the troops. So they like landed all these troops on a peninsula, and they all just got mowed down. But yeah,
Like the Bay of Pigs.
Rip.
like the Bay of Pigs, yeah. I don't really know enough about the Bay of Pigs to fact check.
I only know Bay of Pigs because of Call of Duty. Part of the campaign.
But yeah, now we can talk about how the Ottomans conquered it, Rudy. If you wanna take it away.
I mean, you probably know. I just have a Netflix show, so I'm an expert. But basically, Mehmet, the Conqueror, was from a long line of Ottomans. His dad, his dad's dad, all of them tried to take Constantinople. Couldn't do it because of the walls. It was too difficult. He's like, I got this shit. And then he went over there and he commissioned some Hungarian dude who had the world's first cannon. And it was this humongous fucking cannon that just shot cannonballs. Pretty much exactly what you thought. But you told me an interesting fact that I didn't know, Donnie, was that, did you say that guy offered the cannons to the Byzantines?
Yeah, it was Sam who actually told us that fact.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think he offered it to a bunch of European powers. He was like, I have the technology to make a 27-foot cannon. And they were like, no, that's crazy. Like, that's not going to work. So they didn't take him up on it. But then the Ottomans did. And it took like 10,000 people to even move this thing. But they moved it into place. And then for just weeks, just hammered those walls, the Theodosian walls, with this cannon. And it probably took like constant bombardment, but they finally, after 3 weeks, made
But the cannon wasn't what did it. It helped, but they still couldn't really get in. And then the big issue was that Mehmet had his navy in the Bosphorus, and he couldn't get into the Golden Horn because the reason for the chain, so like Istanbul's on the peninsula, the Golden Horn is like here, and then the Bosphorus is here. The walls were the weakest inside the Golden Horn, hence the chain. So they just put up the chain and no one could get their navy in there. So Mehmet had like a big issue. He's like, I got to get this navy in here somehow. And he just went all in and was like, I got an idea. So what he did was he got like a bunch of like Hungarians. He bought like the Genoese, and he took his navy during the night over the course of weeks. They went into that part near that tower, and they cut down the forest, took the logs, covered them in animal lard, and moved the ships by hand over land and just pushed them on logs over the course of weeks every night. And the Byzantines had no idea. So one morning after all this work, this is like an immense amount of labor. Like think about pushing a fucking ship over land on logs. You want to talk about like a rough day at work? It's like, oh, how was your day? It's like, oh, I moved a ship 12 feet today. And then the next night they go again another 12 feet, and they just keep going, and they move all these ships over a pretty big stretch of land. And then one morning the Byzantines woke up and the entire Ottoman navy is just behind the chain in it. And then that's where they finally got in.
That's nuts.
Yep. It came from behind.
Mm-hmm. And then that's when that's when the Ottomans finally took it.
Mm-hmm. And then, so that was 1453. And then they were their empire,
next 500 years.
Yeah. I think
Wasn't the chain, the Vikings did it first? To protect their like fjords, they would do that. They would have big chains or rope that were.
It would make sense if there's Vikings coming down there. Maybe it was their idea.
Mm-hmm. I can see that for sure. That's interesting. I also like I enjoy older history because it's just much easier for my dumb brain to get. Like nowadays, you're dealing with like all the cybersecurity and like all this like sort of ambiguous stuff that's flying through the air. It's just like back in the day, it's like we can't let anyone in the harbor. It's like, what do? Big chain.
Yeah.
Gotta have that big chain.
And then Mehmet's like, how do we do this? And it's like, just move them.
Just
how do we beat this? I got an idea. Let's go around them.
Yeah. That's the thing that a leader of armies says, because he's not the one that's going to be out there pushing.
Yeah, 100,000%. Yeah. He's like, listen, guys, I got a really good idea. All it's going to take is to move an entire navy overland.
And while you guys are doing this, I'm going to have the best meat that we have.
Was it just one chain? And was it metal? Like, what was it made out of?
I don't even know exactly what it's made out of, but it was a big fucking chain.
But it's
one chain.
We can all visualize this because we were there, obviously. That would be a major project today to get this chain across the water.
Mm-hmm.
And to like, it's so impressive.
Super.
Because I'm sitting there looking, I'm like, that's like.
You don't have welders.
That's a half mile from where I am to the other side of this big inlet. Yeah. That's a long fucking way.
The other interesting thing about it is that it had like a functionality because they could raise and lower it because obviously they want to have people
right, exactly.
come in. So like defense mode, you put it up, and then if you have friendlies coming in, you lower it.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And it's got to be super strong because, I mean, if you have a big ship like that.
Just plow right through that shit.
Right.
No, it was a clothesline. Fuck those shit.
I wish I could.
Hundreds of years.
I wish I had done a little bit more because when we were there, we just didn't have time. But I was curious about, like, what is the size of it? How high in the air did it go? Like, because you think about it, it's like, okay, well, a big enough ship, like you said, Chaps, would just be able to sail over it. But I was, like, trying to figure out, like, how fucking big was this thing? Like, what was the mechanism of raising it and lowering it? So yeah, I'm curious about that. But I did look up the area where like one end of it is they know like the area it was in, but the actual like building that housed the chain is gone. So
yeah, it said it was 40 to 60 meters long, and the chain was made of iron links that were about 2 feet long, connected by hook-like members every 7 links.
That's
Holy
big.
Shit.
That's a big chain.
Yeah.
It was only 60 meters long.
Yeah.
That's not.
It must have been at an area where, like, I mean, 60 meters is a few hundred feet.
Yeah, that's 180 feet.
Yeah.
It's not that.
But there must have been an area where it was. Also, you got to think about it this way. Like, it doesn't necessarily have to go shore to shore because there's certain parts where you can't get a full ship around it. So if it's
that's probably
like,
true.
The way channels work, you have to go like a pretty specific route in terms of depth.
Mm-hmm.
So like if you just get that one area,
that's probably right.
You can stop it.
They should have invented pontoon boats. I bet they could have done it on a pontoon.
Maybe.
Yeah. Or kayaks.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out the Eskimos. I think they were the ones who invented the kayak.
I believe you're correct.
Yeah.
Gutted invention.
One thing that we need to talk about. Have you guys ever heard of the Nicene riots?
No.
Nope. So arguably the worst sports-related riots in history. In Constantinople, chariot races were a big thing. They didn't have the Colosseum. I think gladiator fights had gone out of style by that point. But chariot races were huge, and the city was divided into kind of 4 teams. You had the reds, the greens, the blues, and the whites. And a couple members of the blues were arrested for a murder in connection with a previous riot after a chariot race. So they weren't happy with the outcome. Riot breaks out. They kill some people. So they were arrested, and then they were going to be hung. And when they tried to hang them, the scaffolding just broke. So they survived, escaped. And then the Blues were like, they were demanding that the emperor pardon them. They're like, no, you need to pardon them. Don't execute them, or you're going to have to deal with us. And the emperor refused to do that. And so riots broke out that ended up killing 30,000 people in the city.
What?
Nice.
And they also just torched half the city.
That got out of hand.
Yeah.
Dude.
It all, I mean,
What a
I don't know if it was all
Imagine
because of
being
chariot
hung.
races, but
Imagine being about to be hung and the thing breaks and you get away.
yeah, like I think
What
they
a
dropped
bounce.
the body and then just the force of the body. Maybe they were big boys and the thing just broke in two.
dude.
That story happened recently in the United States where a dude was given a lethal injection and he didn't die. Like the formula wasn't exactly right. And so he went to the Supreme Court, like the case went to the Supreme Court that he was already
He legally died.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
he wasn't. And then the court was like, I'm pretty sure they were like, yeah, it's life,
No.
not life without parole. Or are they trying to do it?
No,
again?
he's. They're like, no. That loophole doesn't count. But
I think that's cruel and unusual. Like if you go to die and how long it is.
I think I'm on his side.
Yeah,
He
like,
died.
Like how, even though he definitely killed people in a horrific manner.
Bad dude, but
like,
he
the
paid his
process of
due
going-
by the U.S. court system.
No, his due was to die, and he didn't.
He did die. He came back on his own though. Like he was dead. He was legally dead for like a minute and
The
a half. or
doctor
something.
had declared him dead.
Really?
Yeah.
and then he just like kind of popped out of it, and now
was
he's
he
like,
just
no.
in prison?
Yeah, so he's still in prison because they had to go through all these different trials and things
This is like
like
2
that
weeks ago.
To,
It was very recent.
Yeah, like it's been in the news recently.
Yeah.
But it originally happened a while ago, and his case is being brought up again. But going from the Green Mile to going to the execution chamber, having your last meal, your last rites,
Yeah, that's
all of that
crazy.
shit, and then
Not
to have to
dying.
do it again.
Yeah, that would
That's
be
cruel and
nuts.
unusual.
Yeah.
I
Life
only,
in prison's fun, I guess.
I'm
I don't
kind
know.
of on his side though.
when it comes to hanging out, I only learned recently that like the point is for
To break your neck.
Yeah, to break your neck. I kind of thought hanging at first was just you get hung and you slowly suffocate. That's if it goes wrong. I think if you just snap your neck, it's a pretty quick, not super painful experience, although I've never broken my neck before. But yeah, it's only when it goes wrong. Then it's like
Haven't you ever seen an action movie? where
7
he's
minutes
like,
and you're just like,
and he's dead? It looks pretty painless.
I saw an interview with a dude who was in the room when Saddam Hussein was executed, and he said that the most disturbing aspect of it was the sound that the
Ew.
neck.
The
when it
yeah,
breaks that
snap.
way.
Ew.
it's like,
He
it
said it's
freaks me out.
horrific, and that he'll never forget what it sounded like.
This is maybe a dumb question, but in the action movies, Dave, like you said, when Jason Bourne is just like,
Yeah.
can you actually do that?
I've always thought that was just an action movie.
You can
thing.
do that?
You can definitely do it. Yep.
Oh man, that sucks.
Could you do that?
Yeah.
Fuck, really?
Could you teach me how?
You've always been my favorite guy.
Do not teach Dave that power.
No, I don't need that power.
It just takes a lot of strength, but you can do it. Yeah.
I have
for
a lot
sure.
of strength.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would like to watch a chariot race. Like, obviously, it's
Are you
problematic
gonna
to.
say
I mean,
execution?
No, no.
Hey, Donnie, I'll take you to fucking Balmoral this weekend. I got
No, I wanna
horses
watch-
that run at Balmoral.
I want like
Chariots,
old
dog.
fashioned chariot race. 'cause,
I know. I mean, that's harness racing. It's a
I've seen
What is
harness.
Modern
harness
day.
racing?
You're
A
right.
tricycle and a horse.
yeah.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
You've never seen harness?
I've seen it.
It's
It was
still-
not that exciting.
No,
No, it
I
sucks.
don't like it. It's
Boring as fuck.
trash. Yeah.
Yeah, but I assume the chariot racing they were doing was a little more exciting.
Probably
I
had
would
like
imagine
the swords on the wheels.
Yeah, they probably allowed some.
Yeah,
contact.
with the wings on the yeah on the wheels, like the wheel guard things.
Yeah, because like we're not going to be able to see another gladiator battle. That's very frowned upon.
Yeah.
but
Kinda.
Sure, if you go to the right area.
NFL, I guess that's modern.
modern day.
Oh,
Not
or
anymore. You can't even.
UFC.
Yeah, UFC is probably the closest we have.
That's actually that would be by far the closest.
Yeah.
There might be some like really fucked up foreign like cockfighting still a thing. I watched your cockfight video.
Shout out Roy Jones Jr.
What about him? Did he get in trouble
He's
for
a
a cockfight?
big cockfighter. We went to the same high school, and there was all like he did it all the time.
You grew up in Florida, right?
Yeah.
Outside Jacksonville.
This one was where
Have you ever been to a
in Pensacola?
Cockfight?
Yeah.
You have?
Mm-hmm. At Roy Jones Jr. house. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh,
shit.
How bad was it?
It was horrific. Yeah. I wish
Really?
yeah. Like it, you'd think,
I couldn't do
it's
that.
birds. How bad could it be? It's bad.
Yeah, it's,
I've killed birds.
nasty.
Yeah. I've
Yeah,
killed
with a
birds.
shotgun.
Yeah.
Sure, not,
Yeah, but not with like my teeth pecking them to death.
And yeah, I mean, I have.
I think
believe you.
the saddest thing is that in a lot of fights, they kill each other, so there's no winner.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they both jump up and they've got these
Yep.
metal
They're off.
talons that they tie to their feet.
Yeah.
Don't they have them on coke?
They'll each,
Probably.
I don't know. Have
No,
I
I'm
don't-
serious. I think so.
I would not be surprised.
Yeah.
I remember reading when Michael Vick got popped for the dogfighting that there was just shit tons of creatine and steroids in the place.
Now that I can't. Like,
No.
that's
do.
That is
Crazy.
lock him up.
Like,
Although I will
watch-
say Michael Vick does seem like he actually the justice system did.
Like
sure, I'll give you that. But like to Chaps' point, like you think, oh, chickens might not be that bad, and it's that bad. Like imagine dogs.
I would puke my guts out.
I
shoot
couldn't.
everybody in the
Yeah.
fucking face that I was.
At my old job, we had dog fights every now and then, and it was terrible.
Yeah, I
Like,
could
you
never.
just-
Like the
Oh.
dogs would get into fights, or they would put them in dog fights.
No, dude.
Yeah.
The Marines aren't putting
No,
working
well,
dogs in fights.
Well, no shit. We're talking about like forcing the dogs to fight. Of course, dogs. I've seen my dog get in fights. It's awful.
Yeah, it's bad. Like what didn't happen a lot because of the safety standards, but every now and then a dog would like slip their collars, and these are all like Malinois that are
Yeah,
trained to
they're
attack.
fucking
so they're
insane
like
dogs,
going
yeah.
after it.
gnarly.
Yeah. I mean, in the Philippines, cockfighting is fully accepted, and they have this event called the Super Bowl of Cockfights, where they hold it in this 20,000 person arena. And then there's just two chickens fighting in the middle.
That's crazy.
AFC versus NFC.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think even the best cocks only survive like 4 fights tops.
Yeah, probably.
Does anyone have some other fun facts about Istanbul, Ottoman Empire?
Yeah, we
Byzantine
talked
Empire?
about the Counts of Nicaea and the Christian Crusades. We haven't talked about that. That's where rumor has it that Noah's Ark was built because it was on Mount Ararat.
Or isn't that the rumor that's where it like landed after the flood?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Is that what I said or no?
No, you
It was
said
built.
that's where it
Oh,
was
no,
built.
no, that's where it ended up. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's been all kinds of rumors, like, and they think that they found it multiple times. You're not really sure if they did, but there's definitely one that matched pretty closely to like the biblical dimensions.
Damn, that's pretty sick.
That's insane.
Wait, I have a question. Because when we were on the boat trip, and they were talking about how the Bosphorus formed because of some glacier crazy shit.
Yeah.
That sounded like mythical crazy shit. What was that?
Yeah, so some people, it used to just be the Mediterranean, and the Black Sea wasn't really a sea. Maybe it was like a small
I think the Black Sea is
little
considered
lake.
the largest lake in the world.
And then when it eventually, the Mediterranean broke through the Bosphorus, it created this like insane flood that formed the Black Sea. And like some scholars think maybe that's what all these ancient flood myths are based on. Like the Black Sea deluge hypothesis.
We talked about that a little out there, and I've been meaning to go down that rabbit hole because that is so up my alley. Just that kind of like not conspiracy, but like
Mythical.
theory, mythical shit.
Yeah.
And I haven't done it yet. So talk to me, Donnie. What are we talking about? The what is it? The deluge?
The Black Sea deluge hypothesis.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
I really just explained it. Like,
No, but no,
best I can. That's all I know.
we went into more in depth in Turkey. I felt like
Well, it's just like all these ancient cultures all have a flood myth.
right.
They're like, and like maybe it was inspired from when the Mediterranean broke through and flooded the Black Sea. Because they've like found ancient tools that are like now maybe 60 to 100 feet underwater in the Black Sea, but before we're on dry land. So it's like they may have destroyed some
Right, yeah.
civilizations. I don't know. I've got some facts about the Ottoman Empire. They were nuts. Like, so every time an emperor died, the strongest kid would just have to kill all of his siblings. Because they were like, that's the only way to avoid a civil war where there's like 3 of the sons are each like vying for power. Just the eldest son would just have to kill all of his siblings. So there was
Fair.
no risk of a civil war breaking out.
It's fair.
And yeah,
I guess in hindsight, that does save a lot of problems, but it's also very insane to think about.
And
so, like, your siblings were basically just alive until it was your time to come into power, then you just killed them.
Yeah, it's kind of like a race to see who can kill each other the fastest.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Game of Thrones.
But you're not supposed to spill
win in my
royal
family
blood.
so fast.
I would too.
My siblings would be fucked.
The last time I got in an actual real life fist fight was with my brother.
Did you
Who
win?
won?
4 years. I beat the shit out of him.
Hell yeah.
I beat the
He big brother or little brother?
Little. He's
Nice.
4.5 years younger than me. Physically much bigger.
Oh, that's
I would like
perfect
to get. I
big
would like
brother
to get.
shit.
I would like to get his side of the
I was
story.
actually
Get him on the line.
I was chasing him down the street as full grown adults. He was running from me.
I love it.
Yeah. And then my dad got home and I thought he was gonna beat the shit out of me.
That's the perfect boy family relationship.
I'll just tell you,
older brother
I'll make
beats
this
the shit out of little brother.
very
and then
quick.
Dad comes home.
Long story short,
Yeah.
this was in like the year window. I lived at home right after college before I moved downtown. My brother was in college at the time. He was on summer break or whatever. I get home. The big ass garage door, the main garage door was open. The door to my basement was open. The basement door to my laundry room was open. That opens into the basement. That opens up to a stairway. That opens up to every fucking house is open. I look down the street. The dog's like 100 yards down the street. I get into my living room. My brother's doing P90X, if you remember that.
Oh yeah.
So he's doing all the calisthenics,
Shout out
hopping
Billy
around. I'm like, hey, asshole, the fucking dog's down the street. Go get the dogs. And he's like, and he goes, fuck you, you go get them. And I'm like, okay. So I go and I push like off on the TV, and he was in the zone. I turn on, he just fucking socks me in the nose. So I tackle him and I just start fucking Kimbo slicing him right in the fucking face. My sister walks in the meantime. She rips me off of him and I'm trying to like get around her. He goes out the door, he goes, I'm calling the cops. And I go, you do it, I'll fucking kill you. So he takes off and I took off after him and he completely fucking wasted me.
So what about the dogs?
Oh, we got him back and everything.
Like wasted you in the
And when he ran away from me.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the most embarrassing part about it. I thought that he
that he
just
beat you in
dusted me.
race.
Yeah,
Yeah, that takes away
that was the,
game.
and we were like 23 and 20 or something.
Well, he was doing P90X.
Yeah.
Would you rather be able to beat your brother up or beat him in a foot race?
Now I think I'd beat him in both. So I think, but that was like
I kind of think foot race.
Nowadays, yeah.
I think the older, it's just kind of a rule of life where the vast majority of the time, unless it's an exception to the rule, the older brother, no matter how big or little physically the younger brother is, they'll always be able to beat him up.
Except for John Jones.
Yes.
Exceptions to the rule, though.
Right, yeah, for sure. One of the interesting things I saw, the oldest temple in the world is there, and it's thousands of years older than Stonehenge.
We saw that, right?
Holy shit.
It's called the Göbekli.
That's in
Göbekli
southeast
in Turkey, yeah.
Turkey.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's southeast Turkey. So that was only discovered in like 2015, I want to say.
And it said that it's from 9,600 BC.
So that's what opened up the window. Do you know who Graham Hancock is? Graham,
Yeah.
he's an English dude. He's on all the fucking Netflix shows like Ancient,
Joe
Ask
Rogan.
This. He's been on Rogan a bunch of times. He's a really interesting guy that just loves ancient civilizations. Like if you're talking Atlantis, he'll know everything there's. That Göbekli Tepe.
I can never say it either.
Was discovered in like 2015 by dude just like milling corn or whatever fucking crops he was growing. And that started off like we thought civilization was only like 3,000 years old. That's 9,000. Now we've gone back to like 100,000 years old. That cave in Russia that was discovered a little after that. It's fucking wild, man.
That's actually one of the goes against the biblical record for dinosaurs is what like Turkey excavation is one of those sites that it did it because it created polyphosphate organisms. So like whenever there was different layers in the rock that you're talking about, if everything was consistent, you would have time periods where it was clear because that's the way that sand and everything works. But there would be different artifacts from different time periods that they thought were so far away. And it just proves that there wasn't a time like that. None of the dinosaurs were around with people because of polyphosphate organisms.
All right. Yeah, that kind of changed the game because they were like, wait, did hunter-gatherers build this like
Right.
9,000 years ago?
They're saying there was like a clean break in history where there was a mass extinction event where like we just don't know what happened before it, but there could be like legitimate
Ancient.
blossoming civilizations of like cities that are, 100 like we had today. Like we just don't know what the technology they had or where it stopped or why it stopped. It's just like a clean break. We don't know what went on before that. And Göbekli Tepe is like one of the discoveries that kind of launched all that.
I would never ever find one of those things. I would be like, oh, I hit another rock, and I would just keep digging. Like I don't think I would recognize it. Like, have you seen the pictures of it?
Yeah.
Like it looks like just the dirt
Rocks.
around it. I would never ever notice that with a pickaxe. I would smash through thousands of years of ancient artifacts in a second.
You're like, oh yeah, you're like, oh, this is the Ark of the Covenant.
They have like
Pompeii, fuck that.
they built like an awning over it and it's super protected now.
Yeah, it looks cool. I wish we could have gone to it, but
That's like
a flight away.
yeah, it's legit.
It's far.
It'd be like going from Chicago to LA.
Damn.
Not that far.
Not that far, but you're
Not
getting in
that
a
far at
plane.
all. Maybe like a 2
yeah,
hour.
it's far.
Yeah.
No,
hour and a
it's
half,
more
2
than-
hours.
Flight or drive?
Flight.
Yeah, you're getting in a plane.
So the Ottoman emperors, they all had harems. There was one emperor who had a fat fetish, and he told his right-hand man, go find me the fattest woman in all of Constantinople. And then he made her one of his most powerful wives.
Nice.
Shout out to him, dude.
Yeah.
One of his
BBWs,
wives.
BBWs.
Yep.
Yeah.
Respect.
One of the most popular sports there is oil wrestling. Have you heard about that? They put people in leather trousers and then douse them completely in olive oil, and then they have to wrestle. Like
That sounds just like a good time.
yeah, it sounds erotic. Sounds
It's like
wonderful.
KY jelly.
Sounds like
Yeah.
when we tried to do that at Camp Barstool, but instead we all just sunk into the,
Yeah.
the middle of the thing.
Yeah.
that was stupid.
I almost drowned after that because it made me go against Shay.
Oh yeah, I remember. You
I
won.
thought I was going to drown. I didn't win. That was bullshit. They took it from me.
Oh yeah, you bodied him.
I did, and they
Yeah.
gave it to him.
That was so funny.
That bazaar that you guys went to.
The Grand Bazaar,
yeah, it started in the 15th century.
Damn.
The 15th?
I
thought it was
guessed
even
earlier.
older.
Well,
Yeah,
we went to two. We went to the Egyptian Spice Bazaar and we went to the Grand Bazaar.
So yeah, I think the modern day Grand Bazaar started in the 15th century, but that was built on an even older bazaar.
The modern one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
1400.
But it's seen as like the oldest continuously operated covered marketplace in the world or something like that.
I was blown away by that because it's so old, but the way it was maintained was insane. Like the murals on the ceiling were so clean, and they had like all these old artifacts in the middle. Like, remember the foot washing thing we saw,
That
Smokes?
was nuts.
Yeah, that had to be super old. I was they've obviously renovated it, and I was talking to Khan, our friend, and he said that they'd had like obviously they've had multiple renovations, but I was blown away by how clean and new it looked.
Yeah.
It was bizarre. No pun
Yep.
intended.
And then the Hagia Sophia, or as Eddie called it, he was like the Hagia.
The Hagia.
Hagia Sophia.
The Hagia.
You could tell how old it was.
You
from the
could tell,
outside.
yeah, but it's still very impressive.
Yeah.
Because it was built maybe 500 AD, and for the next 1,500 years, it was the largest church on the planet. And like it was only built in maybe 6 years, like 6 to 10 years. They just had 10,000 people working on it.
The construction now, comparatively to the past,
Crazy.
is just absolute
Yeah.
bullshit.
Dog shit. Yeah.
It's worse.
You know who fucked it up? Frank Lloyd Wright.
That fucking
Hey, I
cocksucker.
like Frank Lloyd.
Yeah,
His
He's got some
stuff
cool
looks
shit.
like shit.
What?
Like it's just boxes.
He's a local
basically.
guy, right?
Yeah, he's in Oak Park.
Chicago?
He is. He's Chicago.
He's
Yeah.
an Oak Park guy. And the first Unitarian Church of Oak Park is built by him because the original church burned down. And so Frank Lloyd Wright came back from California to rebuild his mom a church. And so that structure at the time had the most concrete ever to build a church. The entire thing is made of concrete. You can't see shit.
Are they
It's
building a
terrible.
fortress or a church?
All the people were like, "Oh, let's go check it out." It sucks.
Damn.
Fuck Frank Lloyd Wright.
Yeah, agree.
Overrated
Pussy.
architect, Smokes.
I'll never know who
Hagia
he is.
Sophia is the reason why Russia is now Orthodox Christian instead of Catholic Christian or another variety. He knew he wanted to convert, but he wasn't sure like what type of, or he wanted to
Wait,
adopt
who's he?
Vladimir or something, kind of like the founder of
Impaler?
the founder of the Kievan Rus that eventually became the first kind of Russian state. And he was like, we need a state religion. How am I going to choose? Should it be Judaism, like Catholicism, Eastern Orthodox, Islam, and then
Picking the coolest one you could.
and
think
then
of.
he went to Hagia Sophia, like sat through a service there, and was like, "Holy shit! I feel like I'm in heaven right now. This is definitely the one to go with."
Do you think there's a waiting list to like get into the Hagia Sophia?
Ken Jack went in.
No, I meant like to like be able to pray there every morning.
Yeah, so it used to be a museum for a while, and Turkey recently turned it into a mosque. So now you have to be Muslim or a local, like from the city, to walk around the first floor, and then tourists can only enter on the second floor. Yeah.
I thought the blue mosque was more aesthetically pleasing, and then the new mosque. What was the one on the river? That one was fucking beautiful, like right
Yeah.
under the bridge.
Those ones look nicer, but they're also like 1,000 years newer.
Right, I know. I think it was called the new mosque. Do you remember that
We
one?
couldn't figure it
Yeah.
out because it was confusing because there was a new mosque and the blue mosque, and the confusing part was the new mosque also happened to be blue, so we never really
No, the
got
blue
to
mosque is by the Hagia Sophia. The
Yes.
new mosque was on the river.
the new mosque was
and
the one
they're
on
like,
the river.
oh
we
yeah,
could
that
see.
one's like 350 years old.
And that one was fucking gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
Yeah,
Gorgeous.
that was also where we had the best pesto I've ever had in my life.
Oh my god, that pesto, Madeline.
life-changing pesto.
Oh
you
my
wouldn't
God.
think
You guys had pesto?
was-
I had the
Bro.
pesto
Yeah, you
too.
were there.
That was-
Oh, that was
How could
over
you
dealing
forget
with
that
the-
pesto?
yeah.
That was the best
Holy
pesto I've
shit.
ever had.
he might not have even had it because he was
No,
doing
no,
all
I
the
did.
visa
You're
shit.
so stressed, yeah.
That was moan-inducing.
Is that the one where they use hazelnuts instead of
Pine nuts.
pine nuts?
Well, they put cheese
basil.
in it.
Yeah, they put 3 different cheeses in it, and which is atypical for pesto sauce. It was the best pesto I've ever had.
a lot of pine trees there or no?
I think there are some, but more outside
Probably
the
a
city.
fir tree out or two out there.
And then the other interesting thing was like when we were on the river, like the palaces on the water from the Ottoman
Yep.
Empire in World War One. Those shits were banging.
Yeah, they built a lot of palaces.
It was gorgeous, but it was weird. It's like such a bizarre place because it has like thousands upon thousands of years of history, and you can see that in it. And then they have like this newer age, like Ottoman Empire in the early 1900s, late 1800s, where you have these like sort of European looking palaces, and then you have these older buildings that are like legitimately just fucking falling apart all over the place. It has like every phase of history. It has like new modern buildings, palaces, and then just buildings that look like you're in a third world country. It's like you put society on shuffle.
And every single person smokes
Yep.
yeah.
cigarettes. Every single person smokes cigarettes.
Are they heavy or light?
Mostly light. They're not cowboy killers.
Like
They're
Japanese cigarettes are like air.
Yeah.
I'd say they're like Slims from
Okay.
what I
Yeah. And like I've never seen a movie in Turkey, but apparently they have an intermission in the middle of movies.
So you can have a
people
smoke
can go
break.
out and
Yeah.
smoke.
Do they have hoon lounges inside?
Yeah, I mean you can just smoke inside most places there.
Even the movie theater?
I would imagine.
no, I guess not in the movie theater. You gotta you go to the Hoon Lounge during intermission, but
Smoking inside, so sick.
all
So
like all
sick.
the
I don't even
restaurants
smoke,
and
but
stuff.
So
You have to. I don't either, but I was like, give me all the cigarettes.
What's their weed policy?
We had
ask Dave. I mean, he didn't give a fuck about it.
It's got to be pretty strict, but
It is. We found a drug dealer.
Okay.
He delivered it in like a plastic produce bag and wrapped it up in like spinach leaves. And when it was like we did one of the secret handshakes and like dapped up, and he got the fuck out of there as soon as it was in my hand. So, and then I just
Risky
sitting there,
move.
Nuts.
and I'm
Yeah,
just sitting
you
there
guys really
like
hit
it's
the ground
America.
running.
Well, it said no smoking, but on the do not do list on the hair procedure thing, it didn't say no smoking weed.
Fair.
I had to have some
Probably
vice.
because it's
I had to have
widely
some
illegal
vice.
there.
Yeah, they said that I would have done like 7 to 10 years had I gotten caught with that.
Really?
Yeah.
You're an idiot.
yeah,
You're such.
I didn't even know you did that.
there's
You're
actually
wild.
It was
boy,
me, Noah, Sam.
Fucking snitch. What are you
Richard.
doing? Shut up.
I think there's a very famous book
we're back
and
home.
movie called The Midnight Express, and it's about a guy who gets caught with weed. And it's all based on a true story, but this was back in maybe the 60s or 70s. Was locked in jail, and then he had to escape from jail and somehow like crossed into Greece, and that's how he
Dude, we would have almost had a Brittany Griner situation. We had to do a
Right.
player swap.
We would have had to.
I don't know. I don't know what we
Who we
would get
traded-
back for
Dave.
Dave.
The agent of death. What was his name, chaps? The guy we traded for Brittany
Merchant of
Griner.
Death?
Oh yeah,
The Merchant of Death.
Yeah.
The Merchant of Death.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of who we would trade.
I'm more
for.
important than her.
In
How would
Turkey?
people laugh without me? And if
I don't know who we have
Thank
from
you.
Turkey that we could
Yeah.
Yeah.
do a trade.
Enos Cantor.
We have like a weird relationship with Turkey where we definitely don't always see eye to eye, but it's like USA always
They
wants
play
to keep
both
them as an
sides.
ally
They're
because they help
important ally.
contain
Yeah, they're a pretty big ally.
Russia. Cause
That's
it's like,
exactly what it is. It's
And not just Russia, but the rest of the Middle East. Like they're a
Yeah.
good
bit of a
partner
shield.
throughout that.
geographically they're a little bit of a shield.
And
But,
they have
yeah.
a fantastic air force and military. They're one of the best military.
and they're the ones that keep Russia out of the Mediterranean because like they're not.
That's all.
I think Russia's not allowed to bring warships through the Bosphorus. Or something.
Yeah, because they don't
Yeah.
want them. If not, then they put an embargo on their cargo ships coming through.
Yeah. And like I don't think USA is allowed to bring warships into the Bosphorus either,
not,
but it's like Russia can't go from the Black Sea to the Mediterranean, we can't go from the Mediterranean to the Black Sea. And hopefully we keep it that way.
Yeah, it's almost like a little demilitarized zone.
Yeah.
I think they would probably trade the Big Mac sauce for Dave.
Or the
Give 'em
McRib
secret
sauce.
The McRib sauce, the secret formula. I think you carry that weight.
I think so.
Yeah.
Especially now that I
I'd
got
give them
hair,
Chick-fil-A
I'm
for
like,
you.
Yeah.
I'm an important figure.
I know, dude. I know. I agree.
I can be taken seriously now instead of the joke that I used to be.
Yeah.
You're a man
you're
now.
different. Yeah.
I've always thought that if someone who works for Barstool was kidnapped by terrorists, we could just put a T-shirt on sale and like raise all of the money to pay the
Oh, yeah.
ransom pretty
For sure.
easily.
For sure.
That'd be kind of funny if like I got kidnapped by Al Qaeda out there or something.
Yeah, that would be.
Yeah, that'd be
hilarious.
so funny.
On that, can we tell that story about?
I think we need to wait until he has left the country.
That's probably a good idea.
Although this
When is
won't
this airing?
Yeah, this won't drop for a couple
Let's just
weeks.
fucking do it. So Sam, who's in Lebanon right now, got accosted by Hezbollah.
Yeah, because they wanted to make sure that he wasn't a spy.
So
Yeah, this won't come out for 2 weeks, so I think he'll have left. He goes, I got stopped on the street and interrogated by Hezbollah's general security wing for 3 hours with loud Israeli drones buzzing directly overhead. They thought I might be Mossad. It ended with them making me sandwiches and a bunch of tea. After the older Hezbollah guys were satisfied and left, the younger ones were trying to get me to smoke weed with them. They were reading the whole Hair Weather fans group chat and were very confused. That's the group chat that we have with like all the people.
So we have a terrorist organization just skimming through all our hair update pictures and shit.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
That's wild, man. That's fucking wild.
Yeah, he
This
was
fucking organization
Sam-
that we're doing like
my
everything
God.
in our power to just eliminate from existence right now. We're giving all these weapons to Israel and shit.
yeah.
They're just skimming our group chat.
Yeah, that's the main reason as an American I wouldn't go to Lebanon right now because didn't like Israel recently had that beeper attack, right? Was that in
Yes.
where they
I think that was like anywhere.
yeah, where they like
hacked
assassinated
phone
a bunch
numbers.
of the top
Yeah.
leaders of Hezbollah. So they have to
There's
just
a
be
couple different countries.
super paranoid right now. And if they see an American in the country, they'd be like, why the hell are you here?
I'm not trying to get political right now, but there is a couple of those videos where it'd just be like a terrorist shopping for oranges in a produce mart and just like minding his own business, not doing any terrorist stuff or anything, like, you know, picking out the fruit, making sure there's no bruises, and all of a sudden just this fucking nutsack explodes.
Yeah, it's insane. I just can't believe Sam's like, I wanted to go to Lebanon. I can't believe this happened. Who could have seen this coming?
Oh, I didn't think I could stop
Yeah.
by Hezbollah. They thought he was Mossad. Do you know what Mossad is?
No clue.
It's like the
That's
James Bonds of Israel's
Of
government.
Israel,
It's
yeah.
this-
Like the
It's like
CIA.
CIA of Israel.
Yeah, of Israel, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I could talk about Turkish history for a while, but I think we got to focus just on Istanbul for this episode. But maybe we'll have you guys back on.
I don't know
the line.
shit about Turkish history, really, aside from like everything, all the
Yeah, I
cliff
maxed
notes.
out. I just have that one documentary
Yeah.
that makes me know a few things.
The only member from the trip from the Chicago office who's not here right now is Eddie. It was his first time leaving North America, and I was like shocked at how kind of like independent he was out there.
That's
Like,
just how Eddie is. He's not much of a do things guy.
But he was
did
doing
the
things,
things
but
he
just
wanted
on
to
his
do,
own. Because like the moment we landed, I was like, all right, we have a reservation for dinner. And he was like, oh, I already have a barbershop appointment. And just like hopped in a cab.
That's what I'm
went
saying. Like,
and got a
verbalize
To a
that. Maybe other guys.
Oh, so he could experience it.
Yeah,
He wanted to
to
do, like, the
experience
fire
a
and-
Turkish barber.
Yeah.
It is fun.
And then,
when you
like-
get your ears burned up.
Yep.
I need that, dude.
Yeah, he was just doing side quests the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I thought because he seemed like the sort of guy that would have been nervous out in Turkey and like not have wanted to do anything
Right.
alone, but that was not the case. Yeah, Rudy was the one who convinced me to shave my head in solidarity with the bald stool.
Yeah.
I was there. It didn't take much convincing.
And I was kidding.
And then after I did it, you were like, "Dude, I was joking. You didn't actually have to do it." Like, fuck you, Rudy.
I mean, you're like, okay.
You're a good buzz
Yeah, I
cut
think
guy.
it's fine, and I think it was the right way to like start season 1. But I was pissed at Rudy when he was like, "I was joking, dude."
I knew. I was just trying to fuck with you. Like I was just trying to fuck with you the whole time.
Yeah.
Got him.
Anything else?
No, I think we can get into getting cultured.
All right, let's do it.
All right, we got Mook appearing on Drop a Pin for the first time ever, and we're going to try to get him a little cultured.
Yeah, thanks for having me, boys.
Yeah,
I
thanks.
appreciate it. I'm a very uncultured guy. Grew up in Philly, vacationing to New Jersey, South Jersey beaches, and have only been out of the country once to Mexico.
Yeah, I think your last vacation was Myrtle Beach with your dad, right?
The Dirty Myrtle. Yeah.
Yeah. I felt bad because I was kind of shitting on you for that. I've never been to Myrtle Beach, so I can't really speak on it. But I think if you like playing golf,
Yes.
that's probably a solid spot.
It's a dirty area if you want to get dirty.
Yeah.
If
a lot of strip clubs.
If you're boozing, you can find the booze and some dirty bars and the strip clubs. But if you're looking to have like a relaxed week on the beach, you can find a nice little hotel,
Panama City of South Carolina.
Yes, apparently, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We were just bunkered up in a hotel, just sitting on the beach for 5 days. It was great.
Okay.
I'm surprised you're a beach guy.
Under the umbrella with a shirt on, with sunscreen on. If you count the beach, I just like to put my feet in the sand. But
I mean, I'm there with you, brother. That's why I'm like, my least favorite vacations that we go on is like, oh, great, we're going to go to Hawaii. I'll have to bring a gallon of sunscreen.
gallon of sunscreen. You got surf shirts?
Brother, do I?
Yeah.
There used to be a Barstool line of sun shirts is what I would call
Bro,
them.
we got to bring those back.
We do. Like they were long sleeve. They were wonderful. They had built-in SPF 50.
Ooh.
Speaking dirty to
That's
you.
the good shit
That's that
right
good shit.
Yeah.
I do get a little bored if it's just sitting on the beach all day.
Yeah.
I got to be doing some other sort of activity, like if I can hop on a boat, or if there's really good snorkeling at that beach, or if there's like a hike that's along the coast, something like that.
Throwing a football.
That's all I need. That's all I need is the ocean, a beach, and a football.
Yeah.
And then maybe some New York Times mini games.
Are you a fan of waves? Do you like to get
Love
tossed around in the waves?
Love splashing around.
Yeah.
So much fun. Just getting the shit beat out of you
Yes.
with water.
Yeah.
You
It's
can't,
great.
You can't really beat that.
I'm
Yeah.
also not a saltwater fan.
Oh no,
I love
I'm a
fresh
salty dog.
Yeah, I'm a salty guy.
I'm more of a freshwater guy. Dries my skin out too much.
It does, but it makes your hair perfect.
Well, not really.
I mean, chaps, how
You're also not a hair guy.
I am a dick guy though.
Yes, I'm well aware. Not in like a gay way though, right?
No,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like aesthetically and for fun.
Yep. Cool.
I
mean, if you're-
aesthetic dick guy,
Yeah.
what does that even mean?
You ever seen Jay Williams? That's what it means.
Oh, just a big black hog.
Yeah, just a hammer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if you're like in a room alone and you don't have a TV or anything, your dick is probably the most fun you can have.
Oh, without a doubt. Especially if you're in a fresh hotel room.
Yes. Oh my.
Oh
God.
my god.
One of my favorite things to do in a hotel room is whenever I'm about to leave, I get the little, not the mini wash towel, but the one in between, like the hand towel.
Yeah.
Take the little, like, travel size lotion and empty that bad boy and leave it on the nightstand.
Okay. All right.
You're a demon. I get it.
Just for fun.
I get into a hotel room,
But I tip,
I start
too.
teeing off, but I'm not doing any of that extra shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to get it going. You got to, I mean, like, oh man, look how much cum this guy has. They'll tell their friends about it.
I don't think they're impressed.
No,
Disagree.
I don't think the Puerto Rican wait staff
Yeah.
is like, look at this cum. I think they're like, this is fucking gross.
This guy's shooting absolute ropes.
All right, so Mook, what's your question for us?
Okay, so my first question is this. It's bonus season at Barstool Sports. I think we've all had a good year, especially look, new show, going great for you guys.
Yeah, thanks.
Me and Maresh, new show, hopefully going great. So I'm going to get a bonus. I'm a little burnt out. I'm looking for a vacation spot that is relatively affordable. And you guys know what type of bonuses we're getting, so you kind of know the budget.
Yep.
It's relatively attainable. Travel won't cost too much to get there, and it's not going to be necessarily like a dirty trip. I'm not looking for like a booze fest. I'm looking for another Myrtle-esque, like I'm just going to sit my ass on the beach, enjoy a beautiful view at a nice place. And I was thinking all-inclusive. I was looking at Mexico before, like last year. I don't know if I trust it. I've seen horror stories of people going to all-inclusive. I just wanted to see if you guys had any spots or resorts or anything of that nature.
First off, do you have a lot of student loan debt? I think Nick mentioned that on the stream. All right, maybe you should just pay off your student loans.
Nah. Don't be responsible. Get out of here.
That shit's not real.
You got your 30s for that.
Yeah. Sorry for even bringing that up.
Oh, it's okay. I think about it every day, every second of the day.
Yes.
So nothing new.
I am not an all-inclusive guy at all, so I don't have a lot of advice there. Before you mentioned a beach, though, I was going to suggest Mexico City because they have direct flights from Chicago that are pretty cheap, and everyone I know who's been has raved about it. It's a really fun place, a lot of great restaurants, nightlife, cultural sites. I don't know if you're into that.
What are we talking USD to peso here? Are we talking, I got some buying power over there?
Yeah, you'll definitely have some buying power. Round trip.
Mexico City's not super cheap though.
Okay.
Like it's one of the more it's a big international city, so if you're going there to look for like super cheap things, it's not going to be Mexico City.
Okay.
It's expensive.
But it will still be cheaper than a vacation in the US, I think. Once you're there.
Like drinks and stuff. Marash,
Yeah, I was just gonna say I can report on. I'm going on Friday to Mexico City.
Oh, shit.
So I'll give you my review after I get.
Give me a rundown, yeah. And you know my budget, Maresh. So
Exactly.
just keep me posted.
Just based on getting reservations, don't think it's in your budget.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, yeah.
It's kind of pricey down there.
But you're probably trying to go to the fanciest place.
Just like one or
Restaurants and
two
stuff.
like decent dinners is pretty expensive. Like not like the creme de la creme. Like I think it's called Puyol is like their best restaurant. You need to get a reservation 3 months in advance, and it's like you're spending like couple $100 just for a meal.
Yeah, it's not like the rest of
That's not like the
Mexico.
rest. You can get a lot of good street food.
Yeah.
Okay, real quick, my parents were just in Portugal.
Oh, yes.
good.
They said they tried to go spend as much money as they could at the best restaurant they could, and the whole meal costs like $150.
Yeah.
Like
was-
everything's so cheap over there.
Taco Bell here.
Very
is
cheap.
$150.
Now, if you're trying to,
Literally, I've done that.
I went there for the first time over the summer, and I think flights are pretty reasonable and very cheap once you're there. A beautiful city. If you're trying to go soon, I think it's probably kind of chilly there at the moment.
Okay.
But they have some beautiful beaches. So if you were going in the spring, Portugal would be a great idea.
Okay.
Also affordability. I recently looked into it too. Madrid. Like getting there is not too bad. Like it's a little bit expensive once you're there.
Yeah.
But you can get tickets to Madrid for like $500, $550.
Yeah, and I think that's like a big barrier to entry for going on trips, right? Is when you look at like flight prices, you're like, okay, it's $1,000 to get there, maybe not. But if I see $550, and then I'm like, okay, I'll do that, and then I get there, and then I forget about the budget because I'm like, oh, it costs nothing to get here.
On United, there's a spot where you can put in just the dates that you want to go.
Yeah.
And then like search this area,
Ooh.
and then and you could do it on Google Flights too, not just through United.
Yeah.
So you could see what the cheapest is. Like recently, I was trying to go in like March or April, and I did that, and the cheapest flight in Europe was to Dublin. Like it was a direct flight from Chicago to Dublin, and it was only like $570 or something like that.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then you like, if you don't really have a place you want to go, you look at it and be like, oh, it's pretty cheap. Let me see hotels, what restaurants are, and things like that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. I might give that a go. We might have to do like a roulette spin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll use the website skyscanner.com. You put down the dates, and then it just shows you what are the cheapest countries you can visit, and it just ranks them all, and you just go
as
and
an advertiser.
that'd be great.
Yeah.
I think it also depends, like, When I travel abroad, I rarely pay more than $100 a night for a room.
Yeah.
Which, if you're paying $100 a night in the U.S., like, I don't even think you can find a spot.
You're staying at like a motel on the side of a highway.
Yeah.
The Holland End across the Holland Tunnel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're staying in Poughkeepsie, New York, next to a Red Robin. Yeah, I've been there. Yeah.
I was in Manhattan, and the cheapest place I could find was around $200. It didn't have a bathroom in the room. There was a shared shower and toilet that everyone on that floor had to use. It was tough.
The shared hotels are scary.
So it depends. If you were traveling solo, I'm sure you could easily find pretty solid spots for $100 or less. If you're traveling with a girl, I don't know if you're trying to impress her. Maybe you would splurge a little more.
Get one with a bathtub.
That would, yeah. Oh, bathtub is a must. But that was my follow up. Is like, okay, what if I want to bring a little hinge piece along with me, a little, a snow bunny to escape the Chicago winter, and they could be a chocolate bunny too. Whoever's interested. Where like, if I brought someone to an all inclusive, would they be like, this guy's a piece of trash?
How old are they?
Anywhere from 23 to 35. Honestly, 23 to 45. Hit me up.
I think if the person is under 32, you're cleared hot.
Okay.
Over 32, I think that it's going to start getting questionable.
Got it. Got it.
I would talk to Rico. He came on the pod, and he's a big all-inclusive guy when he travels.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I did it for my honeymoon because I'm a real piece of trash.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude.
It's fun.
Gran Ocho Rios in Jamaica, baby. Shout out Sandals.
Okay.
Yeah.
How was Sandals? Give me the rundown, because I've heard of Sandals. I know it from The Office.
I loved it when I was 27 and went because I didn't have a lot of money. Like I was in the Marine Corps still at the time, so I didn't have knowing exactly how much you're going to pay for everything, like having your food, having your booze, having all that stuff.
Yeah.
When you don't have extra money is a great thing because then everything's just extra. But yeah, I love that aspect of it. But I mean, if you're looking for the finer things, they're not going to have the best wine. It's going to be like bottom shelf type of liquor.
Yeah.
But
Give me friends.
again, like if you're under 30, like you don't really care about that.
Yeah. Okay. So you went there, and was it like a boozy one, or was it like, you got the proper amount of chill, nice scenery with I'm having cocktails all day?
It was both at the same time.
Perfect.
So they would have like the beach there, but then they would also have like beachside bars or poolside bars, and then they would have like tours that you could do and add on and all that stuff. You know exactly the cost before you go.
Oh, I might go to Sandals, Jamaica.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Just promise me you don't go to Cancun. I feel like you're past that.
I'm past that. And it's funny because when I was looking up the all-inclusives, I saw like Cancun and I saw Puerto Vallarta, and I know they're huge spring break spots.
Yeah, they are. It's huge college spring break spots.
I was like looking to book dates, and I was like, if I roll up solo to a Penn State spring break.
Yeah, that's not going to be. And they're going to like know who you are. They're going to be like, Mook.
Yeah, Mook, what are you doing here?
Mook came on our spring break.
I'm here to creep up your fucking vacation, dude.
I have not been, but Puerto Escondido, which is on the coast of Oaxaca, Mexico, that's supposed to be very nice, a beautiful seashore.
Okay.
And cheap. I don't know if they have all-inclusives there, but they probably have a couple. So, yeah, you can't go wrong unless you go to Cancun. I think you're a little too old for that.
Yeah, I won't go there.
Tulum is like a bit of an older vibe, but it's a very hipster influencer vibe, which I don't know if you want that either.
I also think Tulum can be expensive. I've had buddies go to bachelor parties at Tulum, and I've seen bachelorette parties go there, and I feel like, I've seen really nice shit coming out of it. Mm-hmm. Don't think Tulum is in the budget.
Okay. I have a friend who moved to Costa Rica, and he's like invited me down to stay with him in the past. I could put you two in touch.
Okay.
I think he's got a spare room in his place.
Okay.
He lives on the beach in like a surfing community.
Oh, fuck yeah. I would love to do some surfing.
Learn out. Yeah.
I'm a surfer.
I could see you at least trying to become a surfer, bro. Or have you surfed
I've
before?
surfed. I surfed for 3 summers in Wildwood, New Jersey.
Oh,
on
shit.
On an 8-foot foam board that I would lug to the beach. That was, I could barely carry it, but I tried it for 3 summers. I can get up on a board.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I would love to go to like L.A. or like San Diego and like shred.
Costa Rica is a great spot for surfing. It's one of the top tunnels, like if that you could go to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, another one that you could vacation and live like a king. Dominican Republic.
Ooh.
That's where Puerto Vallarta is. I think that's like the resort area where they have all.
Oh, that's in DR?
I think so.
Okay.
Puerto Vallarta, yeah.
Yeah.
You been, Rush?
Yeah. I was just gonna say the resorts are stupid expensive though, because they
Okay.
know once you're there, they've got you.
Yeah.
And there's no other options. It's not like you go like Cabo, you can stay on a resort and eat somewhere off the resort. DR, you're kind of screwed because they're like out in the middle of nowhere.
Okay.
Okay.
I've heard, I've had some buddies go to PV on spring break and they came back with STDs that don't come from America.
Hell yeah.
Shit.
STDs and
Yeah.
bad LSD come downs.
You should try to surf. That sounds like I used to surf as well. I haven't surfed in forever, but like we're probably around the same skill level. I can
Yeah.
get up on a long board, and, like stay up for a bit, and that's about it.
Ride it a little bit. No shredding
Go to
necessarily.
Liberia,
but
yeah.
No, do not go to Liberia. That is
That's a cheap flight.
They should like label.
$290 to go to Liberia.
Not bad.
Get in there.
Yeah.
I mean,
Spring break Liberia.
we could go for content, or you could take my live streaming backpack and just do Moot Can't Sleep from Liberia.
Liberia. I don't even know what
Yeah.
Liberia is, dude.
Liberia, I mean, we'll have to drop a pin there at some point,
Oh,
but it
without a
was
doubt.
a country in Africa that was founded by former U.S. slaves. So,
This
that's
Liberia
badass.
is Costa Rica.
okay. All right. All right. Liberia, Costa Rica. Yes. All
Oh, that makes way more sense.
Okay.
I was like, why is Rush showing us this? I was
Yeah.
like, what a bizarre place.
But right now, flight's 861. That seems kind of steep.
That was 290, wasn't one of them?
Yeah, you can find dates. I think,
We almost rewrote history and enslaved Costa Rica.
yeah. I think you'll be able to find a great flight for below 700, but it could be for below 500 if you
Well, San
choose
Jose. Yeah, that's
the right
the
dates.
capital, I think. Yeah, that's the capital of
Yeah,
Costa Rica.
and then you can take
Spirit,
either.
baby.
Yeah,
I
and
wouldn't-
like
I definitely
Spirit-
wouldn't do that.
You can tough it out. The thing that I find crazy, there's a lot of people, they use all of their credit card points so they can fly business class either to Europe or Asia.
That's what I do.
But I think I would rather fly economy over there, and then you have all those points left over to like put towards hotels and stuff. I don't know if you're a big credit card points guy or not, but
I've resorted back to a debit card in lieu of my student debt. So
okay. All right.
we're just spending what we have right now. We're trying to be conservative out here.
Minus the bonus.
Minus the bonus, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I think right now in the lead for me, I obviously have to do more research, but it's Sandals, Jamaica, with a bunny.
Yeah, I haven't been to Jamaica. I've heard when you leave the resorts there, the hawkers can be very intense. Like everyone's just like,
And watch your
buy
wallet
this,
and
buy
shit.
this, buy this. You want weed, you want weed, you want weed. And that like, but if you're just planning on posting up at the Sandals, you know,
Yeah. I
think-
plan on like hotel to pool, pool to beach, beach to bar.
Oh, that would be perfect for you then.
Yeah.
And it's like, it would definitely cover it.
Okay.
You could probably get like a villa with like your own private pool and
That would be sweet.
that's what we did. And
Yeah.
it wasn't even that bad.
Okay. I do. Have you guys ever seen Entourage?
Yes.
Where like Vinny goes off the grid and lives like just on a beach?
Yeah.
Is that like a real thing? Like if you wanted to go live for $80 a day on some random beach in Mexico? Or is that
Yeah.
just a movie trope?
No, I think that shaman guy or the shaman's apprentice that we had on the pod,
Soul of Jarrett.
Soul of Jarrett. Yeah, for a while he was living in Puerto Escondido in Oaxaca, and yeah, I think he was maybe paying $25 a night
That's
to
sick.
stay in like a nice spot on the beach, and was just posted up for like a month.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty dope.
I thought that was just like a TV show thing.
That's ideal if you're going to go write a book.
Yeah, just to
Yeah.
get away for a couple months and yeah,
And like
Couple $100.
write some shit out.
Thailand, you can get some really cheap shacks on the beach, but also like that's a long flight. I think
Yeah.
if you go to Thailand, you want to stay for at least 10 days or 2 weeks.
All right, Mook. Well, thanks, man.
Sweet. Yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate it. Looks like Sandals Jamaica. If you want to be my Jan Levinson Gould, please reach out at Connor Mook on Instagram. DMs are open.
Hell yeah. You're going to send out a picture of their tits after? Like, hell yeah.
Just to the boys.
Nice.
Just to the drop a pin boys.
Okay, that was the Bald Stool recap plus a little bit of Istanbul history. Shout out everybody listening to the pod. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. I think we are now on Amazon as well, right?
Yeah, so Amazon will have it where you can listen to it without ads or anything like that. It'll be ad-free, I believe. Ours is one that'll be ad-free. But a lot of you guys have said in like the comments or tweeting at us or messaging us that you really like the pod. It's got to grow. You got to share it. Make sure you share it with your friends. If you like it, they probably will too. So make sure that you do that and subscribe to Donnie's YouTube channel so you can see not just the podcast, but when he goes live in different places and all his other videos that you want to check out the videos from the information that we just shared on this pod.
Yes, and we also want to hear from you guys on the pod. So remember, if you call 872-254-3212, you can leave a voicemail. And we'll try to answer your question on a future Getting Cultured.
And we'll put that number in the bio of the YouTube video or in the iTunes bio that you could check that out so you can call it.
Yes. Because a lot of our coworkers are asking similar questions.
Right.
They're very fun to answer. But, yeah, I don't know how much more vacation advice I have.
Yeah. And also, we just want to give you a little heads up on some of the future episodes that we have. The next one after this is going to be dropping a pin in India, which Donnie also just got back from.
Yeah, hands down, wildest, most chaotic place I've ever been.
And I just want to say it's pretty fucked up that I didn't get to go after I just finished a book that was 1,100 pages about India.
Yeah, and it's all about the slums in Mumbai.
Yeah, a lot of it.
Which is where I did a live stream, so check that out. And those videos won't come out till after the Bald Stool vids, but we'll be able to tease a lot in the next episode. All right, peace out.